Higher chance of area-wide showers and thunderstorms Monday and Tuesday, and continued warm right through next week.
That's all for Fox 32 News at
in Detroit. I'm your host in Chicago, Anita Blanton, and momentarily here we're going to bring in Ronya Shimona live from Detroit so we can talk a little bit about what's going on in our respective cities here. I want to make sure that she'll be able to hear me once we get her in, so we're going to take a moment so that we can get all of that working straight. Of course, technology being what it is. Let's go over a few things for Chicago that we're going to be talking about here today in this first hour. I think this is Ronya right now. Ronya, do we have you now? Okay, still working on the picture, but it does appear maybe she can hear me at the very least, and we'll see if maybe we get her picture up very shortly here. Do we have her now? Okay, Ronya, are you there?
Are you there? I am here, but I don't know if you guys can see me.
We can see you now, lady. How you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. I gotta tell you, I'm gonna be honest with you. I just hopped in the studio. It's one of those moments.
It's like, hello, world.
Exactly. I don't know if you can hear yourself as well.
I can hear myself back.
Oh no. Okay.
Maybe
we're gonna have to figure this out.
Yeah, we might have to turn the volume down on that.
There we go.
Let's
Hopefully
see.
That works out.
Okay, yeah, I think that's much better. How you doing?
You know, I'm doing fantastic. We miss you. It's been a week, and we have so much to talk about. I have a bunch of headlines that I've loaded up for you.
Okay.
Are you ready for this?
I'm ready. Let's dive right in.
Okay, sounds good. Okay, so I do want to start with some discussion about the things that are happening this month. So one thing is we've talked a lot about teen takeovers. That's kind of been an issue here, and I know it's been an issue as well for Chicago. But now when it comes to our fireworks shows that are coming up, it's that month of gearing up for 4th of July, they've decided, you know what? How about we start creating a curfew? And I'm curious to know if Chicago is doing something similar to, I guess, steer away from the teen takeovers.
Okay, I have a couple questions about that. So did you all not already have a curfew? Is this going to be a new, earlier curfew?
So it is an earlier curfew. So normally the curfew, it was 10, now it's 10 p.m. for kids of 15 and under. But it used to be 11 p.m. So it's not much of a difference. However, I guess this is the way now that we're going to try to curve the teen takeover situation, and I'm curious if you guys are doing something similar, even by 1 hour.
So we have a 10 p.m. curfew as it stands right now. I will tell you that the difference here would be that the discussion is around, and it's really been like the last 2 years, that there's been a revolving discussion, a continuing discussion about the possibility of snap curfews. And so the snap curfew would give the police superintendent, so like if you have a police chief, we have the superintendent. The superintendent would have the ability, if he's hearing on the ground that things look like they're getting ready to get out of hand or have starting to get out of hand, that they can go ahead and call a curfew at any moment, snap. So they could call a curfew at any moment during the day, anywhere in the city. And that's been a big part of discussion. I can tell you that this time last year, when the Public Safety Committee was meeting, they discussed it, and really, you run into some constitutional law types of issues, and that kept it from going further and actually being instituted. So what the mayor has said here for Chicago is that they just want to really enforce that 10 p.m. curfew. And what we have seen, I'll give you kind of both sides of it, right? So when you talk about like the fireworks, a time when there are mass amounts of people out anyway for something like that, one of the things that we saw here that kind of revived the debate over snap curfews was the Christmas tree lighting that happened in December. It is like the fireworks. It's a time when there are thousands of people who come downtown to see one of the trees that comes from a family's home, somewhere in the city or in the suburbs. They bring it in and they light it, and it's a big ceremony. Thousands of people come out for it. That happens usually around, like, let's say 6 or 7 in the evening, right? By 9 p.m., so you already had thousands of people who were downtown. By 9 p.m., things started to get out of hand. But of course, the curfew isn't until 10. So could they have prevented, this is part of the question, reviving the discussion, could they have said, snap curfew, shut everything down at 9 p.m. and prevented, honestly, it ended with the loss of life for a young man. Could that have been prevented? That's a part of the debate going back and forth over the snap curfew. Still, it has not been enacted. Like I said, that was in December. Fast forward now, and we're still having the discussion over what would be the right thing. When we had New Year's Eve even, the curfew was strictly enforced. 10 p.m., they were shutting things down, and we didn't have any issues. So the mayor says, hey, if we would just strictly enforce the curfew that is on the books, we would be okay. And the alders who are pushing for the snap curfew say things could be prevented if the police who are on the scene have the ability to call that snap curfew at any point in time. It's still an ongoing debate again. But fast forward to today, from all of that still going on.
Well, and even here, too, our city council does plan to hold another public hearing on this, about this curfew change. They're going to talk about it next week. June 15th is the big day. And what they want to do is they want to get all minors off the streets, all minors off the downtown streets, I should say, by 8 p.m., which I think is kind of early. We got to remember the sun goes down at like 9 p.m. now. So 8 p.m. seems a little early, but it does say that unless being accompanied by a parent or a guardian, you should be off the streets by 8 p.m. And right now, the curfew is 10 p.m. for anyone 15 and under. It's 11 p.m. for anyone 16 and 17. So 8 p.m. does seem a little early, but I guess we'll have to see. We still have at least 10 days away from the next meeting, and we'll have to keep up with that one and see what happens.
Yeah, that's really interesting. And I'm sure if it works, that's always the question. If it works, maybe, other cities will look at it and say, yeah, we need to do the same thing. There are so many questions when it comes, though, to like, well, how do you know it's a 15-year-old when you approach them versus a 16 or 17-year-old? How do you know the difference?
There's no ID.
Yeah. So, and by the time you've ID'd them, what are again the legal ramifications that come into play for that type of interaction in trying to assess their age? These are tough things. I'm glad they're way above our pay grade.
Yeah. No, it's true. And it's funny because how many 15-year-olds are carrying an ID? Even if it's a what are those called before you get your driver's license? Oh my goodness.
Yeah, the permit.
The permits. Thank you. Even if it's a permit, I mean, hey, my parents were waiting till I was 16 to get that one. So, having a state ID at 15 might be pretty impossible. But hey, maybe these kids these days, maybe the teens are like, maybe I need to carry this around. I don't know. That's tough.
That's really tough. And again, I mean, we're having all these discussions at a time when you would hope that some of these things would have been instituted, would have been, the legalities would have been worked out before the kids were out of school.
Sure.
The kids are out of school now. These are tough types of things to try to figure out right now. But hey, if they're able to and it works, again, more power to them.
Yeah. And there's, aside from the fireworks show, there are a lot of things happening, not just here in Detroit, but really all over the country. I'm sure Chicago is ready for this. Switching gears to the biggest World Cup celebration in history, I think. We have over 104 matches across 38 days, 16 cities playing host in 3 different countries. And of course, here at Fox 2, this is something we're going to monitor. And not just that, we're launching a 2 o'clock show Monday through Friday, starting on June 11th, to keep up with the World Cup, which means, Anita, that means means you and I are going to kind of bounce to the 2:30 hour, which I'm okay for that. But here's the thing. If we got to make it happen, we got to do it. But this is pretty exciting for a lot of people here in Detroit. Detroit's a hot city for the World Cup. How's Chicago handling this?
Oh, we're super excited. Honestly, though, we wish that we were getting it. You know, like that's kind of the bummer part of it. Like, of course, people will watch, and we'll have it right here on Fox Chicago. People will be able to see it. But in a city like Chicago, same as Detroit, like you want to be able to walk to it. You want to see the crowds. Like anytime we've had Lionel Messi here in the city, the crowds are just like it's Beyonce in the city. You know, I mean, you see his jersey everywhere, as if he played here. I mean, it's pretty cool walking around and you just see all of these Messi jerseys around here. So yeah, we know we're excited to watch, but we just wish that we were able to like go over to it, walk over to it. And I guess the other part of that is that I've been seeing the prices for some of these games.
Oh, I can't even imagine.
Maybe we would just be walking over to walk outside of it. maybe we're just taking in the crowds from afar.
I'll just watch from home. I'll just watch from home. And you know, it's funny because I just looked up the cities that their World Cup is in, and none of them are close to Chicago and Detroit. In fact, the closest one is New York. So we're still going to have to even fly to go see this. So yeah, I think we're all watching from our screens.
Yeah, I mean, and I've seen, you know, there are plenty of people who are going to get that airplane ticket. You know, it feels like a once in a lifetime opportunity. It definitely a rare opportunity for sure. And so I know a lot of people are going to do that, but then you're just tacking on the price of the flight on top of that ticket. And hey, if it's YOLO, it's YOLO. But that's a hefty cost.
You're right about that one. Hey, Anita, I got to ask you before we take a break. I hear Chicago's Taste Fest is coming up. Is that true?
Oh, the Taste of Chicago. Yes. It's going to be in July. It's going to be in July.
Okay.
So we've got plenty of things before that. But Taste of Chicago is such an integral part to the summer. And I will tell you, I'm emphasis on integral part of the summer because for a few years when we had NASCAR here, and that was a really big thing that we had NASCAR on the streets of Chicago downtown. So it was a big opportunity to show off NASCAR here in the city. The flip side of that, and I'll say one of the things that I loved about having NASCAR here, other than I went out there and I mean just being able to again walk over and see all of the sights and take in something right there in your city, fantastic. But the downside was that we had to move Taste of Chicago to September. And people were like, what? Oh. Taste of Chicago in September? It's supposed to be in July. So this year, we will have no NASCAR here in the city, and the swap goes back to having Taste of Chicago in July. If you've never been, you got to go to it. Prepare for some long lines, but great eats for sure.
Well, and I was talking to a colleague of mine here, and he mentioned Chicago, and I thought, you know what? Yeah, that's coming up in July, but Chicago in the summer is a hot spot, so I need to know where I should stay, how far in advance I need to book my hotel stay, because I'm sure a lot of these places get booked out.
Listen, this is prime time in Chicago is summertime shy. There's nothing like it. I mean, there really is nothing like it. And I think it's because, and you guys can relate to some degree in Detroit, that you have so many gray, cold, rainy, snowy, just did all of those things, types of days throughout the year, that the minute we get some sustained sunshine, it's like, oh man, patio season, rooftop season, outdoor festival season, you name it, we want to be outside. And so we're super excited to get some 80-degree days back here and get outside a little bit more. What about in Detroit? I mean, what are things like right now that we're starting to get some warmer weather?
You know, Detroit has a lot of events coming up this month, and it's funny you mentioned that because the weather plays a big role in all of our weekends, and we had a great weekend for Grand Prix, which was great. But coming up this month, we actually have a Juneteenth festival happening at the Hart Plaza. This one is incredible, and the lineup on this one is, I mean, I couldn't even believe some of the people that are coming. We have a Cash Doll, who's obviously from Detroit, so she has a big following. Babytron, I think Fetty Wap was on there too. I mean, we have such a lineup of people. And so Juneteenth, big day here at Hart Plaza.
Oh, no,
We're
wait.
all praying that
I just saw one flyer that had you on it. Are you going to be on the stage?
You know, I was on there. I'm going to try to show up. If the weather is good, I'm there. I am there.
I
you know how
love
it is.
Listen, let's get in a quick 2-minute break.
Oh, yes. We got to go on break, right, for 2 minutes?
Yeah, let's get in a quick 2-minute break, and then we'll pick up our conversation because, again, now that we have some warmer weather, there's plenty to talk about. We'll be right back.
Oh, I have some more to mention, too, about our city. So, yeah, don't go anywhere.
All right, welcome back, everyone. It's 1:18 right now. We've been catching up with our sister station, Fox 2 in Detroit, Ronya Shimona, who has been kind of guiding us through the list of events that are happening in their city. We just figure, you know, our cities have a lot of similarities. Yes, they're very different, but have a lot of similarities too, and a lot of things that are vibrant at this time of year, especially that we needed to do this mashup. So we're going to try to do this on a weekly basis on Thursdays and try to keep this going strong. It's been great. We just talked about some of the things that are coming up in the next month or two for Detroit and for Chicago. Want to get right back into that discussion. Let's see, Ronya, are you back with us?
I am here. I've appeared again.
She is there. And Ronya, we left off talking about Juneteenth weekend. I will tell you, you know, you all have the festival that's going on. For Juneteenth weekend here, it is massive this year because it's going to be the opening of the Obama Presidential Center.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, the opening ceremony will be on the 18th, but it actually opens to the public on Juneteenth. So there's so many things that makes you, you know, all the feels for the timing of the opening, but we're starting to get some kind of behind the scenes. You know, I was able to go over there and do an interview with Valerie Valerie Jarrett, and then one of our reporters was able to go over there this week and actually do a tour. They're doing some soft openings. We even had one day that was dedicated. Look, I said we, because we're all in the city, so it's all a we thing. But they even had a day where they were welcoming centenarians. So if you can just picture it, it was a group of people who were 100 or over. Beautiful group that got a tour over there. And if you think of all the things those people had seen in 100 or more, because there was one lady who was like 105, all of the things that they have seen, endured, experienced in a century of life. Oh man, I mean, it put a tear in my eye just to see. And they put them in limos to take them over. I mean, it really was a beautiful thing.
You know, Anita, just thinking, I mean, I'm in my 40s and I'm thinking, how do you end up in that kind of, I wish I could.
Same. Good genes, water, I don't know, whatever they're doing, I want all of the tips.
I need the secrets, absolutely. So you never know. But that sounds like an incredible event. And I love when, people can experience things through the help of others.
Yes.
How amazing is it to be a part of a community that gets together and does something like that for really anybody?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for anybody, but
that.
Especially those who have gone before us and really paved the way for all of the things that we are doing today. I mean, if you're over 100 years old, we all owe you a debt of gratitude because you have paved the way for whatever we are doing, seeing, wearing, all of those things. So yeah, just to see them, be able to have the royal treatment, go over there and take in what will be a main attraction here in the city starting on Juneteenth, but for many years to come, what was a wonderful, wonderful thing. And we're looking forward to, of course, the next couple of weeks as the build up, the anticipation just continues to rise.
I love that. It's such a great story there. Anita, I got to ask you, with summer being here and Chicago having such a nice beach area, the lakefront and all that, I kind of pulled up some hot beaches to explore here in Michigan.
Okay.
And I thought this would be kind of fun to talk Michigan summer travel versus like an Illinois, Chicago summer travel.
All right,
and I think we could play a little, this or that. So I'm not going to put you on the spot. Listen, I would love to know if there are certain areas that you recommend beach-wise for anyone from Detroit that hasn't been to Chicago or is coming back.
Ooh, really good question. And I'm going to tell you very honestly, I think within the city, each one kind of has their nuance based upon maybe where you are, where you live, as to, I mean, if you're on the North Shore, the beaches there for sure, they're quiet, picturesque, they kind of have a different feel than the beaches in the city. It's all along, Lake Michigan, but they have a very different feel than the beaches in the city. Man, if you're going to the beaches in the city, prepare for a crowd. So if you want more of a Miami scene, you need to go to the beaches in the city. They're going to offer you that. You've got people who are, out playing volleyball and runners and bikers and tons of people out sitting on the beaches. We've got plenty of, restaurants that sit right there. Like I said, we love our rooftops and our patios around here. So they play into all of those things throughout the summertime. And then, of course, even on the South Side, I mean, the South Side offers its own type of vibe for the beaches there, too. So the city, it depends on where you live, what kind of vibe you want. But then there's plenty of other opportunities. I mean, I think a lot of people who live here and maybe you want to experience something different, you're probably going to Wisconsin or Indiana to try to kind of take in a full different landscape.
It's funny you say that because I do the drive. I do the drive from Detroit. I go through a little bit of Indiana. I've even gone through Gary. I even hung out in Gary, Indiana.
Oh, Gary's on the up and up, man. They got plenty of stuff coming up in Gary.
I'm just throwing it out there. And you know, I like to explore all over. Passing through Chicago, you have that beautiful lakefront, and I'm glad you mentioned the food and the rooftops, because that's something we sometimes tend to forget, being from the Midwest and just not really having enough time to experience the luxury of being outside. So being in a patio, I love that. I got to tell you though, Michigan, I don't know if I'm happy with this list. I don't know if you could roll this, Tom. So number one on the list is a beach that's nowhere near Metro Detroit. I don't find this, you know, that surprising, because unfortunately the beaches around Metro Detroit are not the best. Now, however, I don't know if we can roll on it, Tom. Are we rolling? Oh, we got it. Okay. I don't know if you can see this, Anita, but some of these beaches are super far away from Metro Detroit, but listen, they're still part of Michigan, and they might actually be closer to you than they are to us, which I find funny. One of them is the Sleeping Bear Dunes, and I was wondering if you've ever been.
No, I haven't.
Well,
have you been? If so, tell me a little bit.
I have not.
Oh, okay.
I have not. And there it is. That's the Sleeping Bear Dunes on your screen. I have not been, because it is easy to go down to the beach, but it is not easy to make your way back up because of the hill. And if you can't get back to the top and you need help, it costs $3,000 to get back up. Yes. So this is something that anybody coming from Chicago needs to know in advance. If you hit up that beach in Sleeping Bear Dunes, just know you might be getting a nice hefty fine.
Okay, which one of these on the list have you been to?
You know, the Marquette one, I think I've been there. It sounded familiar to me. South Beach, I've been. I'm not a fan of the ones on this list. I actually like anywhere Lake Michigan, Traverse City, Petoskey, Charlevoix. Those are all west, the west tip of Michigan. So, of course, it's still about a 4-hour drive for you and for us. But to me, those are more of the calm, beautiful waters and great sand. I don't know how Chicago's sandy beaches are, because I still have yet to come there. Well, I've been to Chicago multiple times, just not on the beach.
The beach. You missed out on a gem. And I think the last time we talked, you know, I kind of spoke about that it's one of the things, I mean, we don't want to gatekeep, but we do kind of gatekeep. I try to tell, you know, any of my friends that visit to make sure they get over to the beach, because quite honestly, it's just not. I think a lot of people come here and it's just not a thought for people. I mean, clearly there are plenty of things to do in the city. We literally have something for everyone. But I really think that when people plot out their trips here to Chicago, they get so invested in all of the big shiny, you know, buildings and the things, the events, the festivals, all of those things, the restaurants. You know, we're super foodie town, but you don't hear about the beaches, and so they don't even know to put the beach on. You know, I had some friends who were here just a couple of weeks ago, and they were here for their wedding anniversary, and you know, they were kind of good. I said, okay, all right, give me what you have plotted out, and they were listing off all of the things. I'm like, okay. Oh, y'all need to walk over to the beach. Like, I mean, this is a weekend for romance. Go over to the beach.
Well, listen, Anita, I'm telling you right now, if there's a day where Fox 32 and Fox 2 can join forces and you and I go live on the beachfront, I'm in. So you just tell me.
What a concept.
I'm ready to make it happen.
All right, the summer of taking the show to the beach. I'm not,
you know
not
what?
against that.
I'm in. I'm sad that we ran out of time. Yeah. The time flew. We're already almost done with the show. But of course, we'll be back again next week. And then, hey, listen, when the World Cup starts and we bounce to 2:30, I'm ready for that too. So hopefully you are.
Listen, we'll move and groove however we need to, but always great getting a little time to chat with you. Have a great rest of your day.
Thank you, Anita. We'll see you soon.
All right. Take care. And everybody here in Chicago, give us 2 minutes and we'll be back. I'll let you know where we're going with our conversations from here. 1:31, everyone. Always have a fun time with our sister station in Detroit, kind of comparing notes about things that are going on in our respective cities. We're going to get into some of our other conversations now. We have two major conversations left in this hour. One, we're going to bring in the commissioner for the Texas Department of Agriculture to talk about what has been a pretty shocking discovery there in their state, a flesh-eating screwworm that has returned to the U.S. after 60 years. It's threatening cattle herd. And of course, the big question is this just a concern for Texas, or do other states have to be concerned about this as well? Like, how big of an ordeal is this right now? We're going to get into all of that with Sid Miller coming up in just a bit. But we're starting now with Alderman William Hall right here in the city, because today, Walgreens is permanently closing their Chatham neighborhood store. That's at 8628 South Cottage Grove Avenue. And we've heard a lot from Alderman Hall on this. You had a press conference outside of there the day that we learned that this location was going to be closing, and now we're here. What's transpired in between that time?
Well, what's transpired between that time is that we sat down, we figured out next steps, and I'm happy to announce the Office of Pharmacy Access, which is now in committee, and we're developing what I believe will be cutting edge, something that's never been done in the country, in which our city of Chicago, potentially has the opportunity to be a landlord, pay for the lease agreements and the utilities. Licensed pharmacists can come in now and sell the the supplements, the vitamins, and fulfill prescriptions. What I've learned in a matter of 14 days is the fact that a lot of our pharmacists have been cut out. They couldn't have access to the supply chain. Walgreens took away their customers. So in studying and hearing the pain of those who once were prosperous, once who were key players in our community development, I figured that this is what the city ought to do to respond, so that we never in a predicament where a corporation controls the wellness and the vitality and the medicine of our seniors, as well as those in need. So today it was a funeral, hit the road, Jack. Walgreens will never come back, and that's okay. But what's not okay is the imprint in the things that they left in this community.
That is a huge announcement. Let's kind of break apart some of what you said there, because I do remember going over to speak to an independent pharmacist, Mr. Ward, Trey Ward, who talked about how many pharmacies, independent pharmacies there were in the city many years ago, and how they were kind of knocked out one by one by some of these larger pharmacies. And I'm sure you've heard more of those stories.
Yeah, well, two things. Number one, Dale Carr Pharmacy on the west side, which is now 60 years old. He's the only one in the 24th ward, 2 + 4 is 6. But that's over 30,000 residents that have no access to quality medicine, vitamins, supplements that can be proctored by a pharmacist. When George Floyd situation happened in Chicago, this wasn't the first time Walgreens left. Walgreens left us hanging. There was no access to medicine, no access to vitamins. When George Floyd happened, we, myself, Stacey Davis Gate, Sherman Wright, Trey Wright, Aaron Wright, we raised $30,000, Vitas, Uber, and CTU, and we cornered the market. We was able to buy $30,000 worth of cholesterol, heart medicine, diabetes. Sherman White then at that moment was able to fulfill those prescriptions when CVS, Walgreens, when Jewel Osco had no resources. So what I learned in the midst of George Floyd was, if you create a supply chain, which we did with $30,000, licensed pharmacists like Sherman White over at 200 Pharmacy, though he only would get pennies on the dollar, he was still able to meet a need. And so what I learned now years later is that pharmaceutical companies have partnered with big box and insurance companies to make sure that the little people don't have a chance. We're grateful for the legislation that passed in Springfield earlier this year, which led to a fair share of profits for independent pharmacists, small guys. But then what insurance companies did was then they doubled up. They made you pay a subscription to have your place on the network, and they are now making prescriptions so accessible via mail that there's no need to go to the pharmacy. So what we've done is we've created what they have done. What corporations have done is they have created a market that does not include community or human touch. Telemedicine is convenient, but it does not create character needed for the mind, body, and soul with the interaction that you get with a doctor or a pharmacist. And so what we're doing is rerouting years of corporate genocide. We're rerouting years of medicine apartheid. Just in the last 3 years alone, Walgreens has constructed the worst medical apartheid I've ever seen in my life, going from the 4th Ward all the way down to the 21st Ward and beyond. You see rows of Walgreens that left, separate those who need it, poor, black, brown, elders, from those on the other side of the city, 12th Street, downtown, that have not seen the rapid amount of closures in their neighborhoods. And then, you know, the Office of Pharmacy Access deads this notion that black people are thieves and that we tear up. That's not true. It's offensive. And though the facts show the prevention of loss, it doesn't show that Walgreens did everything that they could to stay in a white neighborhood when they had these same issues. And then they abandoned us, cut the staff, called us thieves, had a press conference, took TIF money, and left.
And it was Mr. White. It was Sherman White was who I talked to before. Yeah, from 200 Pharmacy. I said, Board, White. And he has done a wonderful job staying in business all of these years and kind of wading the water, wading the storm that's come time after time throughout our area. Let's talk about the TIF aspect of this. And I mean, you have taken these 14 days to come up, with others, come to the table and figure out something that should be helpful for a lot of people, possibly for many years to come. What have you all figured out in terms of changing the methodology, the protocol, the policy regarding TIF for major companies, corporations moving forward? Because that was a big part of your frustration initially with this, is how many times big corporations come in, get TIF money to open up in certain neighborhoods, and then shut down.
Well, I'm going to leave the details of that to my colleague, good friend, good leader, Alderman Lamont Robinson. Alderman Lamont Robinson has a piece of legislation that's in legislative purgatory. It is in a holding pattern. He introduced that legislation 2 years ago to begin to do exactly that, hold corporation accountable. We want our rebate back. The same way that these medicine companies have snatched rebates from small independent pharmacists, we want a rebate back on the money that we spent with them that they're no longer investing back in our community. So Alderman Lamont Robinson has a piece of legislation. I'm encouraged by this legislation. I'm encouraged about this time that we're in. I'm encouraged that he can get it to the finish line along with my other 49 colleagues supporting him. Because throughout the city, we see, again, a tale of two cities. In neighborhoods that got TIF monies, they stay, some of which, that have influential people, different hue of skin. But in black neighborhoods, we get ostracized, we get demonized, characterized as if we don't know what we are doing. Let's not forget, Walgreens started on the South Side. It was the South Side, 43rd Street, that made Walgreens relevant in Chicago and in the nation. So how dare turn your back on those who built the company and made a company relevant and real? That's why the Office of Pharmacy Access is key. The Office of Pharmacy Access says we pay the landlord, we pay the utilities, and as a independent pharmacist like Sherman White and others, now you can come in and don't have to deal with the big overhead costs. We then will negotiate on behalf of 2.3 million people to get access to the medicine and the prescription drugs that make it fair for people like Sherman to now re-enter into the business and make it make sense for those who still like to go to the pharmacist, and even those who like to order. To order medicine means you're extracting jobs. We're going to look at a model in which pharmacists deliver to the Office of Pharmacy Access, and then we third party with local delivery people to people's homes. We cannot continue to allow this apartheid model built by Walgreens to separate us. Cancer doesn't have a color. Diabetes doesn't have a color. Heart attacks don't have a color. Strokes don't have a color. We want a city where everybody, no matter your color, have access to medicine and access to vitamins. So the Office of Pharmacy Access, in a span hopefully of 7 years, we can see 77 access points. We're going to look at reimagining church, what that ought to be. That could be a pharmacy access. Thousands of people go to church and thousands of people leave sick. So could it be that now churches, carved out, correctly built out spaces, become a touch point for people? Could it not be the day that we witnessed at barbershops? People, men especially, come, need prostate medicine and other things. Now you go to a barbershop, you get a fade and you get something for your future. The goal is to make accessible points for people to get the things they need to live healthy. The goal ain't to build up corporations that are clearly divisive and disinvesting into our communities.
Well, you know, the argument from the side of public safety, you know, to be clear, it isn't just even for that one Walgreens. You know, it's been a big topic of conversation about whether it's CVS, Walgreens, many of these places that have locked up things in many neighborhoods because of theft issues, and that's only risen over time.
Yeah, well, I'll say this again, this is a tale of two cities. Walgreens figured that when white people need it, we need to figure out whatever we need to do to make sure we stay in white downtown. When black people needed help, let's not play. How about this? Let's go down memory lane. When people start stealing on 86th Street, because that's human condition, of which nobody supports, there was calls made, police involved, everything you can imagine. Walgreens walked away, they cut their staff, and then they labeled us as criminals. Not one effort was made to match the same effort when there was a problem and concern from white residents and from white patrons on the white side of the city. So when Walgreens uses that white lie that, oh, it was crime, we lost, then why didn't they use that and close the white Walgreens on 12th Street years ago? When there were people that were coming into that Walgreens, stealing and acting the fool. Run the data. From 12th and State to 12th and Wabash, Starbucks even left because of how bad it was. Sip and Savor left because of how bad that neighborhood was with mental dilapidation and other criminal behavior. Walgreens stayed though. And the reason why they stayed is because they knew that if white people downtown who have made Walgreens famous and rich in that side of town packed up and left, then all hell would break loose. When Walgreens picks up and leaves our neighborhood, we are the hellhole. That's not right. And so what I know to be true is that Del Car, which is on the west side, 24th Ward, K-Town, all types of things have happened on the west side. They stayed in 60 years. So clearly that part of the west side ain't that unsafe if a black-owned pharmacist can stick around for 60 years. Because again, community requires conversation and commitment. Walgreens doesn't believe in community. They believe in capitalism. They believe in taking what they want and leaving people in need. And that's what we saw in 86 and Cottage. So again, we came not to memorialize them. We didn't even come to a funeral. We came today to announce that the Office of Pharmacy Access is the solution for the future. Can you imagine a city where 77 neighborhoods can help 2.3 million people get the basic medicine needs? Access to healthcare is a human right. And Walgreens has violated our rights.
And, you know, when you said that things like cancer, diabetes, they don't have a color, the reality of it is that that word access does change the outcomes that we see from one side of town to the next. That is a reality. That is data. You know, when we see drastic changes in the life expectancy from one side of town to another.
Yeah, what we see is that at the end of the day, the tales of two cities. You see exploitation on our side of the city, and then you see expansion on the other side of the city. And again, those on 86th and Cottage in the neighborhood, you're talking about lawyers, doctors, teachers, retired city workers. This is the neighborhood of Senator Roland Burris, a retired United States senator. Cannot even go down the street to get medicine because at the end of the day, Walgreens has white labeled black people as problematic. Because when we use the case study, let's use the data of what they did on 12th Street. It showed innovation and it showed the willingness to stay. They looked at our situation and saw it as a horrible crime against humanity. So life expectancy is increased where you have resource. Life expectancy is increased when you can walk to the pharmacy. Those neighborhoods and blueprints see people living into the 70s and 80s. In neighborhoods where you have no food, where you have no medicine, you have no hospitals, you have no schools. Of course, what is there to live for? And so the problem with this is that Walgreens has once again contributed to the unwellness of black and brown people. And so again, when we look at the fact that, crime is crime, you're right. Crime is happening on the north side, south side, east side, west side, happening in all 50 states, 77 neighborhoods. But at the end of the day, to prevent crime, to deter crime, you gotta have the strategy. They had a strategy for the white side of town. They had no strategy for our side of town.
Oh, well, thank you for coming on the show. I think this Office of Pharmacy Access is a really big development that could help so many people. I will reiterate that. And I mean, is this it's an announcement, but when could people actually have access to it?
So number one, it's in committee, so we're going to start subject matter, explore more data. Number two, come July 1st, we have keys to 79th and Rhodes. It's a city-owned bebop. We're not waiting for legislators, though I'm expecting the mayor and my colleagues to help 77 neighborhoods get access to. But in the meantime, we're going to launch a pilot program, 79th and Rhodes. We're going to take 79th Street and revive 79th Street, the home of entertainment, the home of so many amazing voices, Sammy Davis, just the list goes on and on. We're going to revitalize 79th Street and use the corner of 79th and Rhodes with a concrete contraction that has been there for years but abandoned. And so we're going to revitalize it. It's city owned, and we're going to make space for these pharmacists to come on out, meet new clients, and build in community.
Well, I hope as you are revitalizing the neighborhood that you'll come back here and update us along the way.
I think I heard somebody, you said you hope. I think I worked for somebody that told us to keep hope alive. So I appreciate you so much.
That is true. Thank you so much. All right. Take care. Have a good rest of your day. Jesse Jackson, keep hope alive. All right. 1:48 right now. Give us 2 minutes, everyone, and we're going to bring in Texas Department of Agriculture Commissioner Sid Miller. welcome back, everyone. It's about 1:52 right now. We're still waiting on Commissioner Miller from Texas to join us. Until he does, I'm going to tell you about some of the things that are trending on our website right now. Big controversy with Jim's Original. Now, listen, there was already a big controversy revolving Jim's Original that we told you about just a couple of weeks ago when they announced that they were going to have to close their current location and move to a new location. So people were really upset about them having to move, and it's because of some construction that's going to be happening in that area around UIC and their campus. And so at the time when they were making the announcement about closing that location, they said they were moving to Pilsen. It seemed like, okay, well, at least after 85 years at the UIC campus, there is another option. However, not so fast. Folks in Pilsen are not happy about them relocating there. It's the oldest operating hot dog stand, again, has been on Maxwell Street in their location here, and now this plan to go to 18th Street and Canalport Avenue is hitting a huge hurdle here. The East Pilsen neighbors protesting the move. They cite public safety of all things. Noise. Garbage concerns for their area, and despite the opposition from customers and visitors from the it's been a beloved institution for the city, these neighbors say nope, no, not here, not in our neighborhood. So they have talked to Alderman Byron Cicho Lopez, that represents that area, about this proposed relocation, and they are hoping that something works in their favor here. And I'm not sure how far along Jim's Original was in their planning to relocate to Pilsen, but this is a major new development. Now the people are coming out and saying no for this new location. So we have the backstory here on our website. We have what people have been saying. One woman who has lived in Pilsen for 47 years that said it's a mistake for them to move there. And so you have to wonder what's going to happen now that so many people are kind of saying, not in our backyard. We'll continue to follow up on it, but that just kind of hit, and we sent Joni Lum on that story, and a lot of people have been going on our website to read about that. Again, more information there. Really big story today about a suburban Chicago man charged after an Illinois tollway worker was killed on I-294. It's a Berwyn man that's been charged with aggravated DUI involving death following this crash that happened in Des Plaines. And it was an Illinois tollway worker killed, 2 other people who were injured while performing pothole repairs. They do such a dangerous job, and somebody would think like, oh, pothole repairs sounds simple enough. It's never that simple when you're talking about workers having to go out on the highways, and you think about people who may be distracted, maybe have something in their system that makes a difference in how they see things, speeders, so many other things that are out there. We see time and time again, and in fact, we have whole campaigns launched around just moving over, but and putting the phone down, or obviously just being more aware when you know that there's any type of construction work or first responders that have to pull over to the side of the road. And time after time we see those who are just going out, and again, you say just going out for something that may seem mundane. These tollway workers going to fix potholes, or a first responder going to write a ticket, something like that, and it ends with a loss of life or serious injuries. So Illinois State Police said that Paul Ong was taken into custody at the scene, remains in jail pending his first court appearance, but we have his picture, his mugshot here, along with a little bit more information about what happened out there. And if nothing else, hopefully it will jar someone else to, again, either slow down when you see those construction zones, think about the people who work alongside the roadways. This tollway worker was out there trying to improve things for us and lost his life. So very sad situation there. I'll give you one more of the stories that has been populating on our website. And this is kind of going back into yesterday. We took a live picture in our 2 o'clock hour and had a little bit more information at the top of our 3 o'clock hour about this wolf that died at the Indiana Zoo in Michigan City, before there was a separate incident involving staff and other wolves. It seemed so kind of like, now what happened yesterday when all of it was first starting to populate and we were first getting word about it and we first took that live picture. But we know that a wolf died of natural causes. This was on Tuesday night at the Washington Park Zoo in Michigan City, Indiana. And after that wolf's death, there was this incident. It's only described as an incident, so we don't know exactly what happened out there, of other wolves and animal care staff that occurred. Officials have not released details about, again, the details about what exactly happened, but the zoo is open. But that wolf exhibit is closed while the staff is monitoring the animals, and the people involved were all at last check listed as stable. So just very odd situation that happened there. Still waiting on more information about what happened. But again, the zoo is open. It's just that one exhibit that's closed as of right now. I'm going to go back to the top of our website. Again, this is fox32chicago.com, and just make sure I get you the latest also on a major incident on the roadways today. The bomb squad called out I-290 that was shut down in both directions in Cook County. All right, we have a live picture now, and you can see it's still shut down, both directions. I-290, so you know this is a serious situation when we have had a shutdown on I-290 in both directions for this long. It's been at the very least about 2.5 hours that they've been out there, and they shut this down. It's I-290 and I-88 near the I-294 interchange after this incident involving a vehicle that prompted the bomb squad response. I mean, you could see them kind of getting geared up for a while, getting ready to go approach this vehicle out there. Right now, they're a lot closer than they had been earlier when I first started to see this, but the bomb technicians were examining the vehicle. You could see the doors that are open there. Authorities haven't released details on this one either about what led to the response, and you wouldn't think you'd have this type of response for just any type of crash. So clearly there's a lot more going on than what we know about at this point in time. But it has been quite the morning for drivers who have been stuck. Let's see, this initially happened at 10:05 this morning. We're coming up on 2 o'clock right now. Traffic backed up for miles at times. Again, they've got to take, whenever the bomb squad's involved, it's going to take a while. So we're still waiting on more information, pressing for more information. The Westchester police said no threat to the area related to this incident, but a lot of questions about what happened to require this type of response out there that we are still seeing here hours later on I-290. So as we get more information, we'll be passing that along to you here during our time of Chicago Live, but also and always online. We have plenty of information online about the big picture here, what happens next, and any little tidbits that we get along the way, we'll be passing those along to you as well. I believe that we have a crew that's out there on the scene. Casey Cronus, I think. In fact, she just moments ago, 2 minutes ago, sent in a statement from the ATF. So let me read that to you before we hop into a break to launch into the 2 o'clock hour. But she just got this from the ATF, and it says that they have responded to an incident near I-290 and Manheim Road in Westchester, Illinois. The incident remains under investigation. No additional details are available at this time. All media inquiries should be directed to the Illinois State Police. So again, we are putting in all phone calls to try to figure out what exactly is going on out here, but still a scene there on I-290 that's been there for several hours, requiring the bomb squad to come out, and now just getting a statement from the ATF. Let's take a quick 2-minute break, everybody, and then I'll set you up from where we're going from here. Hey, welcome back, everyone. 2:03 right now. So we didn't get our guest, the commissioner, Sid Miller from the Texas Department of Agriculture. I'm not sure what happened there, but we're going to move right on with our conversations here on the show. We have another full 2 hours to get to of folks who are lined up. And in this hour, we're going to talk a little bit about oil shortages, obviously with the situation going on in the war with Iran. What we have seen over time continues to kind of go back and forth. The Strait of Hormuz being closed, and, then a few ships being able to pass through. There's been so much there. It seemed like maybe this was going to be more of an issue for other countries, other nations around the world than the U.S. But then, of course, the longer this goes on, you wonder about oil shortages, even with the deposits that we have. So we're going to talk a little bit about that coming up around 2:15. We'll also talk about Fox Valley Mall and how they're playing into the World Cup. In our first hour, we were speaking with Ronya Shimona from Detroit, and we had the graphic for the World Cup as everyone's kind of gearing up for it, eagerly awaiting the moments that we'll be able to, at the very least, see on TV. Yes, some people will get their flights and head on out to different destinations so that they can go in person to kind of check off that life moment, being at the World Cup in person. But for those who aren't able, there are still other ways when you can take part in the fun. And so we'll talk about what's going on at Fox Valley Mall. And we'll talk with Alderman Villegas about some troubling things that he's noticed happening here in the city and the call that he's making, the call to action that he's making to try to change it, but also the hurdles that he's facing. It's kind of interesting situation going on here, and it ties back into our conversation with Alderman Chico yesterday about what happened in that public safety meeting. We'll get into it with Alderman Villegas coming up shortly, but we're starting here with World Business Chicago. Plenty to talk about with them. First, because they have picked the contest finalist for their big, their big architectural debut that's going to come up in some time. We have El Ramel, the Chief of Staff for World Business Chicago, who is joining us now. Thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for having me. It's so good to see you again, Perry.
Oh, it's Anita. Perry booked you, though.
I apologize, Anita.
It's
Sorry.
okay. Great to have you here on the show. We're all one big team here, or small team, but great to have you here on the show. And, the architecture means so much to the city of Chicago that this competition really is one we love to watch kind of develop each year.
No, absolutely. And I think what I was so thrilled about is when I introduced this competition, I was on your show and the opportunity for Horizon Lines. We've debuted the 6 finalists. They're now being displayed from yesterday in the Cultural Center. No charge required to go see those beautiful images. We're also delighted to have over 200 applications out of that call out I made earlier this year on the show. And we were talking about this, but there was actually a 9-year-old that was one of the best of the rest. So even kids submitted and got their images exhibited around the future of Chicago in 25 years.
Start them young. I love it. And the creativity, if you start then, and maybe we have some folks who will be in big places very soon or someday. So tell me about who rose to the top in this group of finalists. I mean, how did you all cut it even down to this list?
Absolutely. So we were able to have over 160 judges from architecture firms, the community, civic groups, neighborhood members score the initial rounds, and about 12 rose to the top. Then we had a jury. We're lucky to have individuals such as Commissioner Boatwright from Planning, Commissioner Merritt from the Department of Cultural Affairs. They were able to jury Nora Daly from the Chicago Biennale. And so it was a really amazing process. And several rose to the top. So we did have 6 finalists. The first one was the Morton Arboretum with a submittal called Green City Rising. And so the idea of just adding more trees coverage to the city to make up for tree density. We've had one about capping the highways from Metropolitan Planning Council called Repairing Scars. So really thinking about using that space above. I just saw, unfortunately, some of the 290 images, but really, what if above that there was a park or housing? We had one that was, and I think what I noticed about all the submittals, Anita, was just the ones that were system wide. Everyone could see it in their neighborhood. Those are the ones that rose to the top, the big visions. Someone proposed for 1,900 alleys of our city. Could there be more housing above garages? Could there be more housing filling out kind of the backyard spaces in a neighborhood? Another one that we also, have as a finalist is something called so that's Green City Rising. That's the Morton Arboretum. I think that you can see that. Third frontage is the alley spaces. So the idea of we need housing units in the city of Chicago, and there are 1,900 miles of alleys that we can really capitalize upon.
Wow.
Other proposals, reloop the Living Mile.
Ooh.
What if there was a district? This proposed in Bronzeville. Found materials, people that fix up bikes, people that take textiles and make them into streetwear, people that take construction materials like the Rebuilding Exchange. Could you go as a tourist and go to a beautiful district that has art and tables and chairs that are all coming from recycled material? So the idea of a kind of circular district, recycling district,
That's beautiful.
that's something that, that we want to draw. This is a fun one. I don't know if you're interested in this. I'm sort of interested. We have a winter in Chicago that kind of hurts our growing season. What if there were blocks? This is an image from Wheeler Kearns Architect. It's for the neighborhood. They thought maybe areas of Pullman where there would be people that could live in their unit, but also produce food. So almost an urban greenhouse farming complex.
Love it.
And right now we import a lot of fruit and vegetables. So what if we, as Chicagoans, really grew our own tomatoes, our lettuce, and our berries?
I love it. We
Yeah, why
we
not?
just had so many people in the newsroom that had strawberries today, and so I'm like, yeah. I mean, that would be
Chicago
great.
strawberries, right? The Pullman strawberry.
Yeah. We could have it right here. I mean, so many great ideas. Tell me of those from years past, like how the purpose of what you all are doing has played out.
Absolutely. So I think what we did was World Business Chicago is the city's public-private group that helps recruit and attract businesses. So we've done similar visioning in the past. We had a plan for economic growth and jobs about 10 years ago. One of the ideas of that was the Riverwalk. So thinking about, we didn't have a Riverwalk, when I was growing up in Chicago, and think about how people turn to the rivers now and think, oh, that's always been there. You can park a boat and get a pizza or have a glass of wine or bike. 606, that's an old train line. That took a lot of visioning. But I think where I am, I'm an urban planner. I'm excited to get to the next phase. We work with Department of Planning, work with the Department of Cultural Affairs. What are the things we can get done? What's the first set of trees we can plant? Where's that land where that first greenhouse could go? So not only are we going to have the public comment all summer and release a winner in September, but really getting those ideas started so that 10 years from now, that 9-year-old's going to say, well, of course there's always been greenhouses attached to houses.
And is it one winner? And what happens once you have named, who ultimately will win the competition? What happens with their vision?
Absolutely. So you're the 6 finalists now. Public commentary is available online at worldbusinesschicago.com, as well as you can go to the Cultural Center, take an air-conditioned break from the Taste of Chicago, and comment all summer on a QR code. They're going to go to a final jury. One winner will be announced. And then, we're going to really take steps to introduce that idea to the philanthropic, the civic, the government community. Think about what's the first site, how can we get the ball rolling and get the project started.
It sounds amazing. Thank you so much for talking to us about it. Quickly before I leave you, did you go on the trip to Rome? Would you like to tell us about it?
I did not attend the trip to Rome, but I think it's an honor that our Pope is from the city of Chicago and really just drew from that heritage. So as someone that grew up in the community here, I'm just so excited for that connection to Rome.
It seemed from the pictures like it was a beautiful trip for all who attended, and I just wonder, what comes from it other than a blessing from the Pope. But thank you so much for your time here. Please keep us updated on the competition.
Thank you.
Take care. Again, that was El Ramel, the Chief of Staff for World Business Chicago. And this competition, like she said, is still going on for the big ideas of what we can envision for Chicago of the future. But of course, when it comes to today, people in and around Chicago, if you're trying to get around, things are really tricky. Let's go back to our live pictures here from the highway. I-290. Folks have been sitting there, for hours, and maybe those who have had the ability to get off and kind of get around this, you talk about a blessing. If you were able to get around this, that would be one, because it's been since 10 this morning that things have been shut down in both directions there. Portions of I-290 and I-88 near I-294, the interchange there. And you can see there are still so many first responders there in the roadway surrounding this vehicle there. We don't have much information yet as to what's going on out there, but it's got to be something serious for them to have the type of response that they have had, and for the time period that they have been out there. They were called out for an incident in the outbound lanes of I-290 around 10:05. This was near the I-294 interchange, according to Illinois State Police, all right? And let's see. Police said the eastbound lanes of I-88 to I-290 have also been closed. But what we have been watching over the last, I would say, hour and a half is bomb squad technicians come out. Now they do have, as you can see there on the left-hand side, and you can see on both sides that the doors are open of the vehicle, that left-hand side has a cover over it. Not quite sure if that means that there's someone still in there. But this has been an ongoing situation for several hours now that they have been out there. The bomb squad got out there around 11:30 and started approaching the vehicle. You could see them putting on their gear, walking toward the vehicle very closely. And so whatever they were able to scope out, the bomb squad, it takes time for them to be able to do it. But now you see more of the first responders there closer to the vehicle. They weren't close to the vehicle, obviously, before the bomb squad was able to go in and kind of clear it. So the Westchester police said that there's no threat to the area related to the incident, but you just have to wonder what they are assessing right now. We do know that around 1:46 this morning, 2 motorcycles and a car were involved in a crash on the interstate. That was in Forest Park. So it's been a busy morning for ISP. So we know that they're handling this investigation, but again, that they've had a lot going on today. This incident kind of got called in about 4 hours after that initial situation that they were on. But we still don't know what exactly when I say this, what this is. The last thing that I told you all about, what was just coming out from Casey Cronus, that response from the ATF, where they just said that they responded, that they're there, I-290 and Manheim Road in Westchester, that it remains under investigation, but no details at this time. And again, that Illinois State Police are handling this. So we also got this from Casey. She's doing a great job giving us all the information straight from the scene. And she just got a brief response from FBI Chicago that said they've responded to support the incident. So again, in terms of the response here, you think this is a very serious situation, but we just don't know. We've heard from the ATF now, Winchester Police. Winchester, told us Illinois State Police were the lead on this. FBI Chicago says they've responded to support the incident along with a number of other law enforcement and safety partners. We have no further information available to release at this time. So again, we're putting in all the phone calls we can. We're passing along that information as we get it. We'll have that both during this show and then also online as we have that information, because we know, of course, if you're going to be out and about and hopefully not on I-290 or or anywhere in this area, that you'll at least want to know how you can avoid this I-294 interchange right around I-290 and I-88, because there are issues that have been there for quite some time, and it doesn't look like they're wrapping up anytime soon. But if they do, we will let you know for sure. It is 2:18. Let's take a quick 2-minute break. We'll see where we're going from here. Hey, welcome back, everyone. 2:20 right now. We'll get into our next discussion, but just so you know, we're going to try to take you back out to I-290 just as often as we can, so that we can stay on top of a developing situation there that's affecting so many people today and has been for several hours out there. Ongoing investigation that's happening, and we do think we're about maybe 25 minutes or so from having Casey Cronus, who is on this story today, here on the show. We'll bring her into the discussion right around 2:45. So let's get into our discussion about oil shortages first while we have the time here. The oil industry now warning that the White House, warning the White House that the closure of the Strait of Hormuz, which we've talked about the last 2.5 months, really, since the beginning of the war with Iran, steadily draining oil inventories to levels that are likely to cause global energy prices to continue to surge. Let's bring in Gerson Gibb, Senior Managing Partner of Belit Capital, to talk a little bit more in detail about what's going on and where we go from here. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Tell me your thoughts on where we stand with oil supply right now versus where we were at the start of this conflict.
I think there's major disruption in where we are currently with regard to oil supplies. I think the world has been utilizing a lot of their emergency reserves, and now we're approaching a point that negotiations have to be made before we really start seeing the impact on a pricing level, specifically in the United States. Although the United States doesn't depend on oil that runs through the Strait of Hormuz, they're not protected from the price that impacts the world. And we'll see that ultimately if they don't come to a conclusion or some kind of agreement.
You know, 20% of the world's oil supply that typically goes through the Strait of Hormuz, and there was a thought that this type of disruption would affect other nations much more than the U.S. Where do you stand on that?
Initially, it'll impact other nations much more than the U.S., but there's also going to be collateral damage. Even though we're totally separate on where we get our oil from, that doesn't help us escape from this world disruption. If the prices go up, the overall prices go up, it's going to impact us directly because our suppliers are also some way connected to the Strait of Hormuz. So initially, I think the thought was correct, but over time, this has been going on since February. We can't prevent impacts to our markets because of it.
When was the last time you saw, a warning like this to the White House or to any U.S. administration about oil supply?
I've never seen it before, but I do believe that there were indications of a potential warning throughout the last couple of months and a lot of conversations to try to find a resolution. So that just also indicates that they were trying to resolve it before something got worse. But now we're at a point that, discussions have to be made and we really have to determine. And I think this is a push on the administration to try to find some kind of common ground and resolution before it ultimately interrupts the U.S. markets.
Mm-hmm. And when we say resolution, is it possible that things could get back, quote unquote, to normal? Let's say if they're still working things out, but the Strait of Hormuz opens up essentially, but maybe under Iranian control, would the ships that have been sitting there now for 2.5 months, would they feel comfortable even getting through? Or does this have to be a type of situation where it's completely worked out for things to resolve?
I think that's $1 million question, right? We've seen partial negotiations, temporary openings of the Strait of Hormuz, to answer a part of your question. But I don't think we're going to see normalcy immediately. I think that ultimately it's going to take a little bit of time because it's been backed up for so long. And these are humongous ships delivering tons and tons of oil. So just getting them back to a normal rhythm is going to take some time. All of the backloaded things are going to take some time. But I do see if there's some kind of negotiation, whether it's partial or a full negotiation, that at least will put a stall on potential increase in pricing.
Mm-hmm. And when we hear typically from President Trump that things seem likely that they will be worked out, we see some shifts in the stock market typically, like I mean almost immediately whenever he puts out some positive information, we see that indicated in the market. Is it so with oil? Where are the prices and do they shift like the market shifts?
I'm not thinking the information that the current administration or president puts out is going to cause some shift in the market. Saw it a little bit with tariffs, and we're seeing it with this conflict in the Strait of Hormuz. What I do believe is that the general public may be a little finicky with regard to just believing that things are going to get resolved immediately. I think with this administration, since it's such a strong business approach, some things take time to evolve, whether it goes in a negative or positive direction. So we just quite don't know. Sometimes we think that we're closer to a resolution, and then all of a sudden it feels like we're back to the beginning. And I think that just leaves the general public a little concerned about to what the resolution is going to be. But I do see this administration making an attempt to find a resolution and also involving other nations to see if they can intervene and try to find some median ground between these two parties.
The prices we're currently seeing for oil are not as high as what we have seen at points in time during this conflict. Do you think we've already seen the worst of it, or that we might be in a lull?
Well, I believe that this administration has a unique way of approaching negotiations. So I do think that it's a bit contained at the moment. I do think that there are positive conversations occurring, but I also do know that we have been told that there have been positive conversations going on throughout this process, and it didn't materialize to anything. So again, I do think that there's a possibility of things being corrected and it's staying contained. But if things unravel a little bit, there is a possibility that we can see barrel prices going up to about 200, which is almost close to double what it is right now. We're hoping that that doesn't happen, administration is speaking like they're trying to get on the same page as everyone else. But again, we never know. So I take the approaches. I hope it stays like this for now while they're negotiating. I hope it doesn't go any higher. And I hope that they could come to a conclusion sooner rather than later.
I think we all hope they can come to some type of agreement sooner rather than later for many reasons. Thank you so much for your time. We appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
Again, everyone, we're staying on top of that developing situation on I-290. I just want to take you back here to the live pictures as often as we can, because we do have a clear view of the first responders who are there on the road. I mean, you just don't see situations like this very often, where the road is shut down both directions for this many hours. So you would just have to think this is a very serious situation. On that left-hand side of the car, they have that sheet that is up, just from prior times kind of reporting on these types of things. That often means, not sure in this case, that often means that there is a person, a body inside of a vehicle that they are shielding the cameras from. We're grateful for that. We don't want to see anything too graphic here, but we don't know exactly what this situation is that has caused such a delayed delay of information today, but we obviously can see the first responders there. We've heard from the ATF, we've heard from the FBI, we've heard from Illinois State Police, Winchester Police. I mean, there are several agencies that have all been called into this, and they're closer. They have been in the last hour closer to the vehicle than they were the hour prior, as they were waiting on bomb technicians to get close. I mean, why bomb technicians were called in for this, we don't know. We do not know. But just to give you an overview here, police shut down portions of I-290 and I-88 near the I-294 interchange this morning after an incident involving a vehicle that prompted that bomb squad response. They blocked traffic in both directions, have not changed that position for hours as the bomb technicians came in, examined the vehicle, opened the doors, as you can see on both sides, and the trunk. All of it is open, and we're getting information that authorities say there is no threat to the public. But what is going on? Not quite sure. They haven't released many more details about what led to the response. They have not said definitively, at least to us, that anyone was even injured. But again, that white sheet would indicate there is likely a body inside. See here, just looking for more information. The bomb squad was called in around 11:30 this morning. So we are well into the hours here. It always takes the bomb squad a while. Obviously, they need to do a thorough job of making sure that our other first responders can go in. But you could see them kind of getting their suits on, approaching the vehicle very slowly, and trying to clear it for the other first responders to move on with their investigation. But just a lot of questions that remain. We are about 15 minutes out from Casey Cronus joining us. She's been out there working to get more information, and she's been sending that in to us just as quickly as possible so that we're able to at least let you know. I mean, if you were waiting on someone this morning who had to go in this area, go in this direction, not sure exactly where they are rerouting people, but earlier we could see maybe a wider view, and there were cars just sitting on the highway. And so hopefully people who were at least further out were able to maybe get rerouted in a different direction hours ago. But this is a head scratcher here that we've had this morning, and again, we're pushing for more information, and we can only push so hard as they are in the beginning stages of an investigation. So again, we're less than 15 minutes away from Casey Cronus joining us as we see this developing situation on I-290, the bomb squad getting called in, several agencies that are there on scene, but so far just not a lot of information that's coming out in terms terms of what exactly is happening there on I-290 that has caused quite the traffic delay for many people today. But the one thing we can say is that the Westchester police said no threat to the area related to this incident. So you can kind of see the first responders moving back and forth, kind of, getting together, again, early stages of an investigation, trying to put together the pieces of this puzzle. We're all puzzled right now as to what this is, but hopefully we'll get some more information soon. Let's take a quick break, 2 minutes, everyone, and we'll be right back. Hey, welcome back, everyone. 2:35 right now. Again, right around 2:45 or so, we should be getting an update on that situation out on I-290 from our very own Casey Cronus. Shut down in both directions, has been for several hours now here near I-294. Even IDOT has, just put out an advisory here saying to avoid the area, seek an alternate route. So if you are hearing this right now, if you are seeing this right now, take an alternate route. We don't know how long this situation is going to be going on. I mean, we have seen the bomb squad come in. We saw them clear the scene for the other first responders to get near the vehicle. They were all gathered around the vehicle about 30 minutes or so ago, and now they've kind of moved to a different area. I've mentioned that sheet that is there over the left-hand side, the driver's side window. Again, that could very well mean there is a body inside of this vehicle, but we just don't know what has caused the type of response that we have seen today with the bomb squad and the FBI and the ATF and Winchester Police and ISP. So many of our first responders that ended up having to go out there. You can see one walking on the opposite side because both directions are closed and have been for several hours. But again, we are just moments out from Casey Cronus joining us from out there. In fact, she just sent in an email and it says that a death has been confirmed. I just, from seeing these things many times before, you kind of knew with that sheet that was on the window that there very likely was a body inside. So we do have a death that is confirmed now here. No identification as of right now about the person, but we do know that a death has been confirmed from the ME's office in this situation here at I-290 and Mannheim Road, again, where we have seen first responders for several hours this morning. So that new information just coming in. And again, we're going to pull in Casey Cronus, who's been sending in this information into the discussion in just a few minutes, less than 10 minutes now from hearing more from her, now that we know that this is a deadly situation. We can only call it a situation because we don't know exactly what has happened out there. But even as we kind of zoom out here from up above on the overpass, you can see all of these different vehicles, all of these different agencies that have responded to this situation. And just looking for more information at this point in time. Kind of trying to look beyond the first responder vehicles. It looks fairly clear. Why? Because things have been shut down for many hours here. And I can at least say that when I say clear, I mean that there were vehicles just all sitting for quite some time. So hopefully those vehicles were rerouted. Maybe people could get to wherever they were headed this morning when they started their day and had no idea that this was going to be a part of their day, this type of traffic delay. As we zoom in, you can see the ATF there. We had a response from them about this that Casey sent in to us. Again, very short responses that we're getting from the agencies that are out there, but the ATF just said, yes, they've responded. We can see it for ourselves there. They responded to this incident at I-290 and Mannheim Road in Westchester. Zooming in a little bit more to what looks like a marker, or 3 markers. Okay, 4, could be more markers there on the street, though. There are several more. All right. So you really have to wonder, that many markers on the street. Did we have some type of shooting that happened, or what has taken place out there? So a lot of markers, evidence markers that are on the street. Again, we now know this is a deadly situation, which we figured from the sheet that was on that left-hand, the driver's side window. The ATF just saying, yes, they did respond. The incident remains under investigation. No details available at this time, but the Illinois State Police are leading this. We heard that from Manchester Police as well a little earlier as they were giving us information. But just about 5 minutes out now from Casey Cronus joining us, and she'll help put together what we're seeing and what she's been able to gather since getting out there in this developing situation, again, on I-290, right there at the I-294 interchange. I-290 has been disrupted today. I-88 has been disrupted today. But we still don't have, the full picture as to the why of it all. But hopefully we get more information from Casey coming up shortly. We do have President Trump speaking from the White House right now, and he's been talking about clean coal and some other announcements that he's been making. It seems like Doug Burgum, Secretary Burgum, is speaking. Let's listen into just a brief moment of this before we get to our next discussion.
When you took office, the first thing you did was declare an energy emergency. Some people questioned that, but the prior administration under Biden had gone so far down the path of pursuing the highly subsidized, intermittent, weather-dependent sources of electricity that our grid was at risk. You understood that, and you understood that how key coal is. It's the backbone of having affordable, reliable, and secure American energy to power our country, power our electric grid, power our competitiveness in AI, and power all the manufacturing that's coming back. As you mentioned, with those record coal leases, this is where we take federal public land, lease it to the private sector. They write a check, that comes into the Treasury. They create jobs, help support local communities. So there was 0 coal leases held in 4 years under the Biden administration. And you heard the president talk about 76 here. We've slashed red tape. Those took years to get. Some of these projects for coal mining we've approved in less than 1 month under the emergency procedures. And we also have opened up for leasing another 13.1 million acres that people can bid on in our country on public land, and this is land that was set aside.
Okay, just listening into a moment there of Doug Burgum as he was talking about these coal leases that they announced today, where they take federal land and lease it to the private sector. He said that this was done under emergency procedures. Again, there was an order that was signed there today by President Trump. They're continuing on with that press conference right now in the White House, but we wanted to just be able to hear a bit of it as they're speaking there. But we're going to move on with our discussions here on the show. We have Fox Valley that's getting ready for the mall, getting ready for the FIFA World Cup, as we all are, right? Really excited about it. It's going to be right here on Fox Chicago. We have Christina Arias, the marketing director for Fox Valley Mall in Aurora, to tell us how they're getting in on the excitement. Great to have you on the show.
Hi, how are you? Happy to be here.
Doing well, and I'm seeing that you all are going for a record here, so please explain.
We sure are. So Centennial Properties across the country are hosting some really fun events leading up to the World Cup, and Fox Valley Mall right here in Aurora is hosting a free World Cup festival this Saturday, June 6th from 11 to 1 in Center Park. And the most exciting part of it is we have partnered up with Where Football Lives, and we are attempting the Guinness World Record for the most people to juggle a soccer ball at the same time across the globe. So if you join us this Saturday at 11:30, we will attempt that Guinness World Record.
Okay, I mean, it sounds exciting. Just tell me about why you all wanted to put something like this together in the midst of all of the anticipation for the World Cup.
Absolutely. So this is really a celebration of community and a celebration of soccer. There's just so much excitement around the World Cup, and we're just excited for a free family event here in Aurora.
So then how many people do you think are going to come out? How many are you expecting?
Sure. So we have over 100 registered right now, but we're certainly expecting a really great crowd and a lot of fun. We'll have a lot of free family activities happening that afternoon, so just come out and join us. It'll be a lot of fun.
Okay, I'm seeing that people can take photos with a World Cup trophy.
Yes. So the event will have fun for all ages. We'll have a DJ, some freestyle soccer performers, soccer mascots, and lots of great photo ops throughout the center, including one with an imitation World Cup trophy. We'll have some games, face painting, and some really cool giveaways, including free soccer balls and gift cards.
I love it. I think this is going to be so much fun for so many people that will come out. I'm sure you all will have a packed event. And thank you so much for coming on to tell us about it. I mean, were you all kind of trying to, in a meeting of minds, coming up with, okay, what can we do to be a part of the FIFA World Cup excitement? Or were people coming to you all saying, hey, we want something in this area to tie in?
Yeah, absolutely. So we really just are centered around our community, and there's a lot of excitement leading up to the World Cup. So we really wanted to do something for the people of Aurora and also our retailers. There's so many retailers that have World Cup merchandise that we're just so excited to celebrate, gear up, and be all set for the games.
Well, it sounds like a win-win for all. If it can help some of the retailers and also give a good time to many people who are there. Thank you so much again for your time today. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right. Let's see, everybody. Before we go to break, we want to just take you back to the live pictures that we have been following again today with this big breaking story out there on I-290. You can see one vehicle leaving the area. That could possibly be a sign that the initial investigation maybe is going into a different phase. It was definitely way more active an hour ago in this area around that vehicle on your right-hand side. Still a lot of first responders, though, that are out there. And even when we zoomed in just a short while ago, lots of evidence markers there on the scene. The FBI, the ATF, and several other Illinois State Police. I mean, you name it, they're out there right now. So we're going to pull in Casey Cronus momentarily. Let's get in a quick 2-minute break, and then hopefully we can get some more details. Okay, 2:50 right now, moments away from Casey Cronus joining us to try to help fill in the holes that we have in this situation out on I-290, where we have seen quite the response from law enforcement today. You could tell that they are still in the midst of early stages of an investigation, but they have been out there for hours. And travel advisory went out from the Illinois Department of Transportation, IDOT, just letting people know, hey, if you have not gotten on the road, if you're seeing this right now, don't go in that direction today. I mean, not anytime soon. We're not sure when this is going to wrap up, but right now both directions are shut down. And Casey Cronus is with us now. Casey, give us what information you have.
Anita, we've just confirmed with the Cook County Medical Examiner's Office that one person has died in this situation. They are still unidentified. Again, unidentified, but confirmed by the Cook County Medical Examiner's Office that one person is deceased. Let's take another live look here at the scene. The vehicle in question that police authorities have been surrounding is still here on I-290. We are positioned on an overpass bridge on Westchester Boulevard to get you this vantage point. But as you mentioned it, both directions of I-290 still shut down. We know all of this started to unfold around 10 this morning. Both the FBI and ATF have confirmed their involvement in the investigation, but Illinois State Police is the leading agency in this. And as you mentioned it is unclear just how much longer they will be out here. But as you can imagine, this has created quite a few headaches for drivers in the area whose commutes were doubled and tripled this morning. Everyone diverted off the expressway here. And the big question this afternoon, Anita, is what exactly happened? Because we see evidence markers strewn across I-290 on both sides. We see what appears to be a broken window sitting in the middle of the expressway. There is just one car involved that police have focused their attention on. So the questions of what exactly happened that led up to this incident, those questions still unanswered.
Yeah, and you would wonder if maybe once there is an identification of the person, whether that would start to move things along. Maybe they haven't told us, but maybe they have been able to assess who the person is, and possibly that will factor into what happened out there. I saw some people walking behind you, so I know you're on the overpass. Are those people who have been sitting out there?
There's been a lot of neighbors who have come to take a look at this bridge. This is one of the safer areas because we are in the middle of two neighborhoods here between Bellwood and Westchester. So there's been a lot of people who live in the neighborhood who have come just walking their dogs. They've walked over to take a look at this situation. And it's still a very active scene, so there is a lot to see. Some folks who are coming up to us are asking what happened. They've been at work or they've been away from the area all day and had no idea that any of this had unfolded until just now arriving home.
Mm-hmm. And then over to your right, on the other part of the overpass, are cars still sitting there, or have they gotten all the other cars off of the road?
No, so no cars are on the expressway on either side of Westchester Boulevard where we are. I do actually see a few unmarked trucks coming from behind us, so I wonder if they'll happen upon the scene here in just a moment. It's unclear, if it's a shift change at this time, right? If they're bringing in new crews. They've had folks out, evidence techs documenting, so perhaps it is the next stage in the investigation. But it really appears, Anita, like this could be ongoing for quite some time. We do see a tarp on that car, and our viewers may be wondering what that's for. Our best guess is that the deceased individual is likely still in that car, and that is why there is that white tarp. It would also explain why the Cook County Medical Examiner tells us that this person is unidentified. They gave us a case number and said it's an unidentified individual. Typically, if they know the identity and they just haven't released it yet, they'll tell us that, next of kin hasn't been notified. Mm-hmm. But in this case, they gave us a case number, and next to it, it said unidentified individual.
Yeah, and pretty interesting that even as we've been looking over at some of those vehicles moving, the first responder vehicles moving down the road, that there are markers on both sides.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Yes, evidence markers on both sides. And what else is interesting, Anita, is that we don't see any other vehicles that may have been involved in this initial incident, which, when you think about it, on a busy I-290, for there to be no other cars that were affected, for this person not to have, it doesn't appear that they crashed into anyone because there isn't another car on scene. So that is something else that we'll be looking out for, is were any other drivers involved in this situation? Were their cars hit at all? Were their cars affected? Perhaps they've moved them to a safer area. But that is another question that we have tonight. And Illinois State Police confirms, and Westchester Police confirms, there is no greater threat to the public. So a lot that we know this afternoon and a lot that we still don't know.
Yeah, and typically when we see a lot of evidence markers, it usually says maybe there was some type of shooting or something of that nature. Can you see anything where those evidence markers are? I mean, do we see shell casings? Do we see anything on the road, shrapnel or anything on the road that would indicate maybe just with our eyes what the evidence markers are indicating?
There's no indication that there was a shooting. It's possible there was, but authorities have not mentioned that in any way. One of the evidence markers is near, I mentioned it before, but a piece of what looks like a piece of a window. A lot of times when windshields or windows shatter, it doesn't break into thousands of pieces. It kind of stays, for the most part, a chunk of it will stay intact. And we do see what appears to be one of the passenger or driver side windows kind of just sitting there in the expressway, but it's unclear what the other evidence markers may be pointing to.
Yeah, and right next to that piece of the window, the evidence marker says 34. I mean, it just indicating how many evidence markers are out there, and that may not be, the highest number that's out there. Interesting to see this group of first responders starting to walk back to the vehicle. We saw them, we obviously saw the bomb squad go toward the vehicle, everyone else staying back. They cleared it, and then there was a big group of first responders that went to the vehicle. They left, and now we're seeing this group start to walk back in that direction.
Yes, and it appears that one of the officials here is holding like an extension cord, sort of, it's like coiled up. So let's see here where they're heading. Looks like probably to the front of the car where they were focused earlier. There was a group of probably 2 or 3 dozen officers kind of huddled up looking into the hood of the car. So what exactly they are doing now, we will have to wait and see. But it doesn't look like this could be wrapped up anytime soon.
It really doesn't. It really doesn't. And so you have to start to worry about the evening rush, just like the scenes we saw this morning for the morning rush. I mean, at least people will have a little bit more of a heads up for the evening rush. But we're coming up on 3 o'clock right now, and they've been out there since what time this morning?
It was around 10:05 that Illinois State Police shared with us that they got the initial call to respond to the area. So we are talking hours. At least it will be well lit with the expressway lights if they do remain here when the sun sets. But authorities are doing a really good job of diverting traffic quite a ways away. So that's why we don't see on either side any cars anywhere nearby, because they are diverting traffic quite a ways away just to get people off the expressway and hopefully kind of keep things moving.
Yeah, I mean, when you think about diverting traffic, I think I heard earlier someone say that their trip that typically takes 45 minutes was like an hour and a half today because of this.
And we talked to a few people who work in the area who told us just that. One man said that he comes from Elgin. It typically takes 45 minutes, and it took him almost an hour and a half today. So commutes being doubled and in some cases tripled. Another woman told us that when she was on the expressway, she saw people around her getting out of their car just to stretch their legs because they had been sitting for so long.
Wow. And here we are hours later still going through this. So I hope that people are seeing this, paying attention before they make their way home this evening. And of course, we're going to let people know if it should open back up before the evening rush. That's kind of a best case scenario, but it does look like they have a lot of work to do.
Absolutely, they do, Anita.
Mm-hmm. Well, thank you for all the updates that you've been sending in and for taking some time to talk with us here. We may pull you back in before 4 o'clock. If not, we will definitely see you at the top of the 4 o'clock.
Thank you, Anita.
All right, thank you. We appreciate it. Everyone, it's 3:01 right now. Still have a lot of discussions to get into in this final hour before we get you to the 4 o'clock. And in fact, I think we have Alderman Villegas who is joining us right at the top of this hour so that we can talk a little bit about a proposal that he is trying to put through and what happened with it yesterday that had several alders kind of coming out of a public safety meeting scratching their heads about what went wrong. Alderman Villegas, are you there? Yes.
Yes, I am. How you doing, Anita?
Doing well. Thank you so much for your time. We really appreciate it. This public safety meeting yesterday seems like everyone is trying to figure out what happened and like what were the things that behind the scenes that were happening that maybe even everyone who was there didn't quite put together yet. So walk us through what was on the agenda. What proposal were you putting forth?
Yeah, so I actually was putting forward two proposals, and one of them actually passed. And it was the first one was dealing with the uptick in airbags that are being stolen from vehicles, and so that passed unanimously. However, my second item is an item that I've been working on for the past 2 years, and I've provided the administration an opportunity to put forth strategies to deal with it. And unfortunately, this has been a delay tactic from them. And it's and I'm really getting up, and my community is getting really tired of this because of the fact that what we're seeing is that we have a open air drug market that's occurring by Grand, Division, Lawndale, and Monticello, and on a daily basis, 24/7, and they're selling cannabis. And we know that the state of Illinois decriminalized cannabis. However, what we have are folks that are out there on a daily basis selling cannabis. And what really is concerning is the fact that it's right near a grammar school and 2 blocks away from a park. And so what my proposal was going to do was to say, okay, hey, listen, we got to move these boundaries back a little bit. We can't have parents that are taking their children to school having to dodge these folks that are selling cannabis and drugs on a daily basis. We've got to move the area back from 1,000 feet to 2,000 feet in order to put forward some enhanced penalties here. The state, I've tried to work with the General Assembly, in order to take a look at the unintended consequence that came about from the decriminalization and has created a black market, and is on the cusp of violent crime that's going to take place. And so I'm trying to get ahead of it. My community has been dealing with this for a long time. There are other parts of the city that are also dealing with this, and that's why you saw a lot of my colleagues that were supportive of it. But then you saw the mayor's allies pull a parliamentarian maneuver where they wanted to see if there was a quorum, since some of my colleagues that were there had to go to other meetings, and so since they left, they were unable to be counted towards the quorum. And so that's the frustrating part, is that the games that the administration's playing instead of dealing with the problem, they went ahead and asked their allies to go ahead and delay the meeting. And so I'll come back on June 9th with the ordinance. I'm going to make a couple of adjustments that I heard from the law department in order to make sure that there's a clear direction around the enhancements. But listen, we've got to do something here. If the state's not going to take action on this, then we have an ordinance that will be the vehicle to dealing with public safety and these open air drug markets that are occurring in the city of Chicago.
I mean, it seems simple from the outset. Like, no one would want people selling drugs anywhere in the city, but especially near schools and where children are. And so that seems simple enough. Where do you think this is getting held up, whether it is the state legislature or even, from the fifth floor?
Right. So the General Assembly, I talked to some of my state reps and senators about the unintended consequences here around the decriminalization. Again, I don't want to put further enhancements or I don't want to criminalize cannabis. However, the same way that we don't allow loose cigarettes to be sold on the corner or cans of beer to be sold on the corner, we shouldn't allow cannabis to be sold. And what we've seen is that the cannabis, because of the taxes are so high, we see people that are going to the black market in order to get cannabis cheaper because they pay no taxes. And so that's what we're seeing here. And so because the state didn't act, we have in our ordinance the ability to pull the lever at a local level in order to deal with these type of infractions. And so that's what I did, was exercise that authority by putting forward language that's going to allow CPD the ability to put these cases forward. Now, at the end of the day, the state's attorney's office will have purview as to whether or not they want to charge them. But the reality is that to do nothing is irresponsible. I've heard from my community, I've heard from other folks throughout the city that they're tired of these open air drug markets. And all you have to do, like I said, when you go around and you see these markets, this is crazy that we're allowing this to happen in the city of Chicago.
Well, and I guess I have a question. I mean, if there's been no drug interdiction or something that's happened there, do we know that it's just marijuana being sold?
Well, see, this is the thing. I mean, who knows, right? Because if you go to McDonald's, you're just not gonna order a cheeseburger. You may order a shake. So if you go to this corner to get cannabis, but maybe someone else says, "Hey, do you have anything more potent?" They're going to try to find something that's to fill the order. So they're selling a lot of cannabis in Delta 8 and Delta 9, some of these things again that have been decriminalized, but they're also selling other types of drugs. And so CPD is working hard and working closely with some of the federal agencies as well to try to deal with this. But in the meantime, what we're seeing is that CPD's hands are tied. And so we see on a 24 hours, 7 days a week, open air drug market that's taking place and putting people at risk. And again, impacting the quality of life of people that just want to take their kids to school, people that just want to go to the park and have fun. I mean, we should be laser focused on making sure that the folks that want to enjoy this type of quality of life, playing at the playground, playing baseball at the park, have that opportunity. And we got to do something. And so this is what this is. And so, the administration, I provided them long enough runway to solve an issue. And we've met multiple times over the last 2 years. They were supposed to come back to me with plans. And so they have not proposed any type of strategy to deal with this. And so just as it's getting warmer out here, I'm trying to be proactive in order to put forward a strategy that will at least, at a minimum, deal with the open air drug markets that are occurring, specifically in my ward, but this is occurring throughout the city. It's horrible because, like I said, we had overwhelming support from the committee. Had it not been for the mayor's allies playing parliamentarian games, this would have passed yesterday.
Well, and then there's the question I think that a lot of people had about whether it was your proposal that maybe, possibly, allegedly, someone was trying to tank, or whether it was the shot spotter conversation that was coming up after it that never even got off the ground.
Yeah, I mean, who knows? All I know is that when you talk about, if you ask the average Chicagoan whether or not they want to have a strategy that deals with open air drug markets, or do we want to see some type of technology that helps CPD identify where people are shooting, and especially when we know that there's been at least 90 cases of folks that have been shot where ShotSpotter was located that have died because no one called the CPD or an ambulance. People would overwhelmingly support those two initiatives. So I don't understand why the hesitancy from the administration to support this and get on board. And even if they don't want to support my ordinance 100% as written, put forward a different alternative. Give me a substitute that deals with what we're trying to solve for, which is people that are illegally selling cannabis, that do not have a dispensary license, that are selling it on the corner. And what we saw over the weekend, where that CPD was deployed to Michigan Avenue, and they were arresting people that were selling trinkets from a parade that happened over the weekend because they didn't have a license. So you're going to go ahead and arrest people on Michigan Avenue for not having a peddler's license, but you're not going to arrest people and try to take them off the corner that are selling cannabis illegally and other drugs. Again, make it make sense here. All I'm saying is that the people in the city of Chicago deserve a better quality of life, And because we're getting on summer, I'm trying to get ahead of it.
Okay, and you mentioned having to make adjustments. Can you tell us what some of those adjustments are that you intend to put forth the next time?
Yeah. So two that I heard. I'm sorry. Two. One is to take a look at putting forward a restorative justice. A requirement of doing a restorative justice. So, for example, if someone gets arrested for the first time and is selling illegal cannabis out there on the corners, I don't want to lock them up. What I want to do is say, okay, hey, you have to get into a training program of some sort. You have to do something positive in order to not have this case follow you. So I'm open to doing that because I'm not trying to arrest people. I'm trying to solve the issue that we have people that are illegally selling cannabis on the corner, and they're putting people's lives in jeopardy, because what we saw over the last summer, that there was two gentlemen that popped out on AK-47 trying to claim a corner where they were selling cannabis. And so it's only a matter of time before something dangerous happens there. So I'm trying to get ahead of it. And then the second was to allow the judge to pick from one of the four items and give them some discretion versus. So it was really a scribbler's error. It should have said or, but it said and. And so I want to fix that to make sure that we allow the judge some discretion. But I'm really focused on, again, having some consequences around this so that way we can try to deter. And that's why I'm interested in including the restorative justice portion of it, because I don't want to lock people up, but at the same time, we can't have parents dodging these folks that are selling illegal drugs and cannabis as they're taking their children to school or taking their children to the park. Just can't have it.
When is the next meeting?
June 9th. It's supposed to reconvene at 11:30 on June 9th. And so by then I'll have the substitute, and looking forward to getting the support of the committee again. As I stated, the vote was overwhelmingly going to be supportive of this. And so it's just a matter of reconvening, and then, like I said, I'm going to make an adjustment just to satisfy, hopefully get those folks that were opposed to it on board. But if not, I have the votes already to move it as is.
Okay, we shall see. And please circle back with us and let us know, okay, if it does or doesn't.
Thank you.
Okay.
No, it will. It will. This is common sense. So I appreciate it.
It makes a lot of sense. But yeah, let us know how things go the next time around. We appreciate it.
Thank you, Anita. Have a good day.
You too. It's about 3:15, everyone. So give us 2 minutes and we'll be back. Hey, welcome back, everyone. 3:16 right now, and boy, what the last year has been like in the age of disclosure. So many things that came after so many years of people wondering things, and we might be getting ready for part 2 now. The new film, Accidental Truth, next, Beyond UFO Disclosure, from Ron James. And we have the filmmaker, much talked about filmmaker, here with us now. Thank you so much for making time for us.
Thanks for having me on the show. It's great to see you again.
Tell me a little bit about how the first film was received that made you say, I've got to do another one.
Well, the original Accidental Truth that I put out in 2023 has been seen by millions of people worldwide. It won over 28 film festival awards, and a lot of people said that it was the best UFO documentary they ever saw. And I'm not trying to brag, I'm just saying that that's what was out there. We really blew the lid off the history of the cover-up and how the new narrative that they're rolling out is false. And so with Accidental Truth next, I'm taking the viewer on a wild adventure through Washington, D.C. You get to see inside stories play out that you won't find anywhere else. And we also come to the realization that this political process of disclosure is only going to get us so far. And that if we want to get to more truthful answers and bigger answers, we have to start exploring a whole new realm of possibilities.
How do we even get to that? I mean, if you think about how long it's taken us to get to what we're even getting slowly, the slow drip right now, how do we get to what you're describing?
Well, the film is really 2 movies in one. It starts off with the nuts and bolts of the disclosure process within government, but it also takes us into all new avenues of science and new understandings about the nature of reality, our traditional spiritual teachings, how non-human intelligence has been interacting with humanity since the beginning of our recorded history and beyond. There is nothing new about the presence of non-human intelligence of many different types all around us. And what we have to understand as a civilization is that disclosure is only the beginning. This is the beginning of a revolution in human evolution and our civilization. And we have the opportunity right now to begin a grand adventure through a whole new way of understanding ourselves. And so I've made a film that's fun to watch, but it also is extremely thought-provoking, and it asks the question, what questions should we be asking? Because we can't get the right answers until we know the right questions, and right now, we don't even know the right questions. We don't understand time and space like we should. We don't understand the nature of our own beings. So I'm taking the viewer on a wild adventure. We have mysterious materials cases that defy explanation. We have inside stories in Washington, D.C. And finally, at the end, we have people like Rizwan Virk and Dr. Michio Kaku and actor Thomas Jane, all helping us to understand simulation theory, the nature of reality. What does artificial intelligence have to do with it? The whole conversation is about to get very, very interesting.
You know, we had Dr. Michio here on the show a few weeks ago, and it was pretty mind-boggling. So let's just walk through the name of the film. Why is it an accidental truth?
Well, the first Accidental Truth set a precedent where I was interviewing people high up in government and people who knew about the secrecy involved, and they would say things accidentally that revealed more than they were actually willing to tell us or wanted us to know. And this new film carries on that tradition. There's very poignant moments where people that are in the film are tripping themselves up and revealing truths by what they're not saying or what they're trying not to say. And so the Accidental Truth brand, so to speak, continues. We have a very awkward moment where a materials scientist is acting as though he doesn't remember anything about receiving certain materials, and then we confront him with the fact that we have a picture of him on a Zoom call with the man who gave him the samples. So there's a lot of very, very interesting things happening in this movie. It's a great ride from beginning to end.
How has it changed you? What you've learned, be it pushing for it or accidentally, how has it changed you?
Well, when I first started to try to explore this mystery, I realized that government and private industry has put put the biggest deception ever put forth on humanity by covering this up for over 100 years now. But what I didn't realize is that the explanation of the phenomenon and what we're seeing is going to require us taking a completely different look at everything from basic science all the way to our spiritual understandings of our place in the universe. And so that journey has been my journey as well, that I share with the viewers. And it opens up your mind, and at the same time, it just makes you go, because it's just so mind-boggling. Mm-hmm. So I wanted to package it all into a fun movie, fun to watch, and really thought-provoking. And so far, it's won 10 Film Festival awards, and it is #1 today on the Apple documentary charts.
Oh wow, climbing on up there, because I had 2 here, so it's continuing to rise. More people finding out.
Oh yeah, it's been #1 for the last day. For the last day, yeah.
Awesome! Congratulations to you.
Yeah, I invite everybody to check it out. It's on Apple, it's on YouTube Movies, and it's on Amazon. And this is the next step in the discussion. What do we do once we acknowledge that there are numerous, possibly non-human intelligent beings that interact with us regularly? What do we do next? And that's where we're at.
So, we've been getting like a weekly drop of UFO files. Do you feel like we're getting the truth even from the files that have been disclosed to us?
A lot of these, there seems to be some gratitude among the UFO community and people that the government is dropping something. But a lot of these files that we've been given are things that have already been previously debunked. They're things that have already been in the public domain. It's a long way from the real truth about what's been going on for the last 100 years in relation to covering this up. And so it's a start, but it's not much of a start. And in the film, we pretty much make it clear that the government is never going to come forward and tell us the whole truth about everything they know, because they've done too many things to cover it up over time, and there's too many interests that are not going to be served by a full disclosure. So while I commend the government and all of my friends in Congress that have been working really hard to bring about something, we're only going to ever get a partial truth from the government, and right now we're not even getting close to that.
Wow. I mean, it did feel like once we started to see like high level, very well-known leaders who were called to testify, when we started to see some of those folks, it felt like, oh wow, this is a real moment here. Same for when we finally heard, okay, well we're gonna start doing these weekly drops. What do you think comes next?
Well, I think that we're going to get more and more information, but they're never going to say, hey, we've been studying this for over 100 years. We have reverse engineered programs where we've recovered craft, we've recovered alien bodies. Even though we're hearing that in testimony, I don't think we're going to hear it officially. If we do, it'll be great. I would love to be proven wrong. But we're going to get this slow drip of something we call controlled disclosure. And what that is that there is a timeline, this has already been worked out among the powers that be, for slowly dripping the information to humanity until finally they reveal that we aren't alone and that we are interacting with non-human beings. But they're taking their time with it. They're going to drag it out as long as they possibly can. And it's the job of filmmakers like me and the independent UFO community to throw light on the subject and to egg these guys on to get with the program and get this done.
There is a sentiment of, is it better to slowly take the Band-Aid off or to rip it off? Is that what we're in right now?
I am a fan of what they call catastrophic disclosure. A lot of people that I work with think that this slow, controlled rollout of information is the way to go. But to that I say, look, you guys have had 100 years. There is really no reason to keep dragging this out. And it appears that, especially with these new government file information drops, that they are going to continue to drag it out. We've had testimony about reverse engineering programs. We've had testimony about extraterrestrial life and non-human intelligence in many forms, congressional testimony by experts. But we are still not getting anything that confirms this from the government. And what we are getting with these information drops is really very little that gets us down the field. If Donald Trump wants to stand up in front of the country with a file folder of images from the Roswell incident that tell us what really happened there, that would be real progress. But what we're getting right now is still just a slow, controlled disclosure. It's going to take a lot of time, and we're still never going to be told the whole truth. And so I think that the right amount of whistleblowers with the right amount of evidence bursting onto the scene would be a pleasant outcome compared to what we're experiencing right now.
So it sounds like you have a part 3 in you.
Well, I hope that human civilization and our own momentum writes part 3, because all I can do is show people what I think is the real truth going on. I've been inside Washington, D.C. I've been in the offices. I've briefed Congress people. I've interviewed them. That whole story is in the movie. And then I've also talked to some of the most brilliant thinkers that are thinking about what's next with all of this. Where do we go from here as a civilization? And Matthew Modine is narrating the film. Actor Thomas Jane comes in with some incredible insights into AI and how that all fits in. We have Rizwan Virk, who is the master of simulation theory at the moment. These are all avenues that are opening up that we're going to have to start exploring beyond just Are We Alone? And so it's a really fun film.
Well, thank you so much for telling us about it. And if people want to see it, where do they need to look?
You can get it on Amazon, Apple TV, and also YouTube Movies and TV. It's #1 on Apple right now. And what I really want to do with this film is open people's eyes to the next level of the conversation. So we've got the age of disclosure. We have Disclosure Day coming out in a few days from Steven Spielberg. And when people have absorbed this fiction and they want to know more about the truth, that's why this film is here.
Very subtle shade. Very subtle. No, I'm playing. Thank you so much for your time. We appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having me on. It's always great.
And congratulations on all your success. We've 3:28, everyone. Let's take a 2-minute break here. Well, you know what? Before we take the break, do we still have the live picture from out at I-290? Okay, we'll try to get that back to you again before we get to the 4 o'clock news, just to see if everything is still shut down with the deadly incident that we now know that has taken place out there on I-290. But give us 2 minutes. We're going to bring in JD and talk a little bit about the weather outside for today while we wait for more information about that developing situation. Okay, welcome back, everyone. 3:32 right now. JD Rudd in the house, so we can talk about the weather that we're experiencing outside. Feeling like summertime shy.
Can I put you on the spot for a second?
Maybe.
Care to guess how warm it is in some spots right now?
90.
She's good. Gary is up to 90 degrees right now.
Wow.
A lot of spots are at 87 or 88, so it's feeling like summer.
You know, it was an easy guess for me because the minute I stepped out this morning, I was like, ooh. It's a little hot already.
And what's funny, we had our 2 o'clock meeting for the newsroom earlier, and one of our producers came running in from outside, and he goes, oh, hey, it's hot out there. And I was like, the humidity hasn't kicked in yet. It's just the heat for right now. The humidity kicks in for tomorrow and Saturday, making it feel even hotter. So we're inching our way into this stuff. This is just the plain old heat by itself for starters.
That we had been waiting for, everybody. You know, you got to remind yourself, remind everybody that, you know, when it's cold, we're like, oh, come on, summertime, come around.
Then it gets warm and you can do things like this.
Yeah, hop on a boat, a friend's boat.
Yeah, that's exactly it.
You don't have to maintain.
No, you don't got to do any of that kind of stuff. You know, you buy them some cold ones, take them out for dinner or something like that, make it all good. I always say, find a friend with a pool, find a friend with a boat, somebody like that.
Skip all the maintenance and just help them out with it.
Just have that good friend. Yeah, I'll wash that down for you. Sure, I'll help you. Yeah, I got you.
Yeah, chip in.
Yeah.
All right, so you mentioned the weekend. We're almost there. Friday Junior, as we like to call Thursday. And okay, the temperatures are kind of getting up there. What's going on with our rain chances at this point?
So I just snuck a peek at some of the newest data for tomorrow. I think we're still on track. Tomorrow, 1,000-yard view. Tomorrow's going to feature rain and thunderstorms. As you see here, there is a risk of severe weather. It is a level 1 risk. And in looking at the finer details, I'm going to call it a low-end level 1 risk, because from what I'm seeing, there'll be some scattered rain around in the morning, maybe a rumble. Then afternoon time frame, roughly noon to 6. There's a window there for a couple of clusters of thunderstorms to come rolling through. 1 or 2 of those might be stronger, and of the strongest storms that we get, you might find 50 to 60 mile per hour wind gusts, maybe some nickel to quarter size hail. I'm using a lot of qualifiers here because it's not a slam dunk kind of a thing. It's not a, oh gosh, Anita, we're going to get this is going to happen. It's very conditional. It's very spotty in terms of severe weather. I do think there'll be pockets of rain around tomorrow afternoon. There'll be some thunder embedded in there, maybe some gusty wind, 30, 40 miles per hour, enough to grab your attention. And if you had any Friday outdoor plans, it might be something to curtail those or make you have to delay a little bit. Now, I say all that, again, look at the timing I've got there until 6 p.m. because it looks like after about 6 o'clock, in general, things start to move out of the area. Now, that said, looking to the west, you see that big blob of yellow across pretty much the entire state of Iowa. They've got a higher risk of severe weather tomorrow, and that's because of a late-day storm system which will develop over Iowa and then move our direction. But the expectation is by the time it gets toward us, it'll be diving southward and losing steam. So my overall, again, hunch is rain in the morning, thunderstorms in the afternoon, a quiet evening for us unless that storm complex in Iowa stays more eastward and bowls its way into some of our western counties before late evening tomorrow night. That's tomorrow in a somewhat simplified nutshell.
Somewhat simplified, but I was paying attention to the maybes and the mights. That you dropped on us.
Because, I mean, we're going to have warm air. We're going to have humidity. There is going to be a front coming through or coming into the area. That's the thing. It won't come through tomorrow. It actually moves through us late tomorrow night into early Saturday morning. So that kind of displaces the best lift and dynamics in the atmosphere for big-time severe weather. So I feel comfortable saying there's going to be rain, there's going to be thunderstorms. I'm not seeing data supporting widespread strong to severe storms everywhere. But I do think there'll be 1 or 2 or 3 that pop up in a couple of spots for tomorrow afternoon.
And after 6 o'clock,
I'm thinking we're okay. We should be okay in most areas. Now, if areas like, say, Kankakee or Rensselaer, our extreme southern, southwestern areas saw a little something, I wouldn't be surprised. But I'm trying to keep in mind where the most population, most eyeballs are. and that's going to be around the greater Chicagoland area for a couple different reasons, just in general, but also keeping in mind what we have going on with the various sporting events this upcoming weekend.
And festivals.
And festivals, too.
Blues Fest.
There's so much happening on Saturday. We've got the soccer match at Soldier Field. The Cubs are playing. We've got all the festivals going on, of the various activities. So a lot of folks will be in the city on Saturday. And the newest data that I've seen, lesser of a threat for rain on Saturday.
Okay.
I'm going to put a shower chance in there, but it's less than what it was yesterday.
Okay, well, take us from here. Where are we going?
So here's the 7-day to show you. A pretty good chance for rain, I think, on Friday. It's almost a slam dunk. We're going to get rain and thunder. There's a sliver of a chance of a pop-up shower on Saturday, and here's my gut feeling. If we do get a pop-up shower, it will probably be very near a stadium, because that's just our luck. That's just how it seems to be. I hope I'm wrong. I really do. I hope it doesn't pop up near any of one of our stadiums, but we will see. I'm keeping it in there just so folks are prepared, because listen, if I tell you that it might rain and it doesn't, that's great. If I tell you it's not going to rain and it does,
problem.
Hey, dude, come on. You said it wasn't going to rain. So I'm trying to lean on that side of life. And then Sunday, looks like more clouds than sunshine. It's going to be a warm day, but what you don't see here, I think the dew points may kind of peak on Sunday. So it's going to be very muggy on Sunday. That 82 might wind up feeling more like 89 or 90. So it's going to be a warm, steamy kind of feel on Sunday. And then here comes another storm system, I think, for Monday afternoon into Monday night, early Tuesday, giving us more chances for rain and thunder. And then, not to be overlooked, you see those numbers for Wednesday, Thursday?
The 90s actually come on the screen.
They're creeping in. I know May 10th is typically when we see our first 90. That obviously didn't happen this year. But now as we're inching closer toward about the 10th of June, hey, month late, but 90s are showing up.
Delayed but not denied.
No, not at all. It's got to get hot. It will get hot. And keep this in mind, too. All this, we get wrapped in perspective now. It's still officially spring. It's not summer yet, but we have kind of, gotten that jump start because we get a little impatient around Chicago. We like to get moving, get grooving, get things done. So we're jumping right in.
Well, we have a long wait. So with the minute we've got our shot, we want to take it. Thank you so much for coming up. We appreciate it. We'll get him downstairs to get ready for the 4 o'clock news. We're going to take a quick 2-minute break, everybody, and then we're going to bring in Lawrence Gaffides. She's been on a breaking news story today that we're going to get the latest on right after this. Welcome back, everyone. It's about 3:42 right now, and we had a shooting that took place at an Amazon fulfillment center garage in Melrose Park this morning. We want to go ahead and bring in Lauren Scafidi, who is on this story today. Lauren, what information do we know beyond that today?
Hey there, Anita. Good afternoon. Thanks so much for having me. So we do know that one person died in that shooting this morning. I want to give you a look at what we're seeing because we're still seeing quite a few police officers here from Melrose Police. We're still seeing West Suburban Major Crime Task Force, and we also know that the Cook County Sheriff's Office is here as well. We're still seeing some flashing lights and some caution tape. It looks like really nobody is getting in or out of where that Amazon facility is. Just to kind of paint a picture of where we are before I tell you a little bit more about what happened. This is Fifth Avenue here in Melrose Park, and this is right before the intersection at North Avenue. So on North Avenue, you might know the Costco over there, the Chipotle on the other side. And besides the businesses over there, the industrial buildings over here, we also have some homes over here. I tried knocking on some doors to talk to some people this morning.
All right, we may have had an issue with her signal there. She's moving around. Here's what I have from Melrose Park Police until we get Lauren back. Lots of questions about this because they say that the garage is a credentialed area. Only Amazon workers can get to that area. We do know that this was a male Amazon employee who became a victim this morning in this situation. But they were waiting on a next of kin notification for more on the victim. Is Lauren back with us? Okay, Lauren, we can see you and hear you.
Can you guys see me? Yeah? Okay. Yeah, sorry, I don't know what happened there. But police got here a little after 9 o'clock, and they say that the victim was being taken care of by a security guard. The security guard was giving this victim first aid. They say that the victim was taken to the hospital, to Loyola Hospital for surgery, and that victim ended up dying just a couple hours later. Police were only able to share that it was a man. They weren't able to share any more information. They're waiting to tell family before they release the name and everything like that. But as far as the suspect, police are still working on the suspect. They don't know who it is, and they don't know what kind of car that suspect drove away. And so we're still waiting for that information. But as far as the motive, police are saying that this all stems from an argument between people. So they say that this shooting was targeted and that there is no threat to the public. Police also say that they found 2 shell casings inside the garage here at this Amazon facility. So, of course, really sad here in Melrose Park. We have families with missing their loved ones today. You have coworkers here who are wondering probably, how to move forward without their coworkers. So we're going to have that full report for you at 4 o'clock when you join us.
Yeah, I mean, when they say that a person drove away and they don't, I would wonder, are there not cameras in the garage that they would be able to access to see what kind of car got away?
Right, yeah. You would think, you would hope, but we're still waiting to hear back from police on all of that. So hopefully they can figure that out to at least get, one step closer to finding out who pulled the trigger this morning at this Amazon facility.
Yeah, and the other thing that, that stayed in my head is the fact that if this is a credentialed area, what I didn't get from them is that this was another employee involved. So how did if it's a credentialed area, is this somebody who didn't work there that ended up in the credentialed area, or was this somebody else with a credential other than the employee who ended up sadly passing away?
That's a great question, Anita, and that's exactly what I asked Melrose Police when I talked to them this afternoon. And he said, all we can tell you is that this is a credentialed area, so do with that what you will. Mm-hmm. So that's all we have right now.
Okay. That says a lot, even though it's a little. Thank you so much. We appreciate it. We'll see you at 4 o'clock coming up soon.
Thank you, Anita. Bye.
Mm-hmm. All right, 3:46, everyone. Give us 2 minutes, and we'll let you know where we're going from here for our final conversation here on the show. Okay, welcome back, everyone. 3:48 right now. Before we get into our next discussion, we did get in a statement from Amazon. I want to make sure, since we were just talking about a very unfortunate situation that happened on their property, that we get this in. The statement says that, and it is attributable to Lex Evans, the Amazon spokesperson, that this is a senseless tragedy. Our thoughts are with our employees' family, friends, and our team at our Melrose Park delivery station. Right now, our priority is supporting them. The delivery station has been deemed safe, and we've added additional security. We're supporting police as they investigate and defer to them for further details. So again, that is a spokesperson for Amazon who gave us that statement. We'll have much more again on the 4 o'clock show about what took place there this morning and the investigation that continues on right now. But you know, with these types of stories out there, you know, they're tough. There's a lot going on in the world, and so sometimes you just need a little quiet space, a little quality time to kind of readjust, reconfigure, woo-saw, right? And a lot of people are finding that in Mahjong. And we have a Mahjong teacher who is with us, Hazy Sherman, the co-founder of So Bam Fun. Bam. Just want to make that very clear in case my parents are watching. Thank you so much for your time.
I'm so glad to be here. Thank you for having me.
Tell us, if somebody has never heard of Mahjong, what is it and why you think it's really increasing in popularity right now?
Yeah, that's sort of two questions, but I think what to begin with is the importance is to know that there's over 40 different types of Mahjong. The original form of the game started in China about 200 years ago, and it came to the United States about 100 years ago or so. I'd say the resurgence has become kind of a push against the technological world. People are trying to find ways to connect, find community, and just spend time with friends and family outside of, you know, being on their phones and different forms of technology. We've certainly seen that in our events, and it's just been so fun seeing the community we can build in this analog hobby that is Mahjong.
All right. So how did you get into it? And how quickly can people catch on?
Yeah, so we got into it actually because our mom and grandmother both play. We actually had a family game night last night. My grandma's in town, and we all sat around the table, which is one of the best parts about Mahjong. It truly can cross generations, and you can spend time with those you love, and that's been our favorite part. And we saw that with our family and our friends, and we decided that that was such an easy community we could build in like a wider vicinity than just our house. My sister started So Bam Fun about 2 years ago in Dallas, and she thought that the way that we could get this to the widest group of people and to create an established great group of people is by partnering with restaurants, bars, different venues that we would love to spend our time at, because we thought that was kind of a natural pathway to get people in the door to then learn the game and then also find the community that we've found through the game as well. In terms of how long it takes to learn the game, our lessons, which we partner with these restaurants and other venues as well, these are typically 2-hour events. We teach you the basics and you can get through one game, but we do suggest taking 2 to 3 lessons. You can kind of play after one, but it is a complex game. So we just say, you know, give yourself patience and hopefully you will get there eventually.
When you say it's complex, what do you think separates the good from the great? Like what actually makes somebody a star with Mahjong?
Yeah, I always say you don't have to always be a star. We like to social play is what we say, but to be a star, I'd say just learning the cards. So in American Mahjong, I guess to backtrack a little bit, all forms of Mahjong are different pattern making games. American Mahjong, which is the version that we teach, uses what is known as the National Mahjong League card. That's kind of complex for this segment, but the more you study the card, the better player you can be. But practice. That's kind of what we tell people at our events. Just keep coming back, look around the table and know everyone's been in your shoes, and they'll give you grace and patience, and through time you'll master the game.
When you say practice, how many games do you play a week?
Do I play a week? Well, I teach most nights and I have a full-time job, so I don't get to play as much as I want to. But when I sit down with my friends, I normally Saturday mornings we'll play for a few hours, and in about 2 hours we'll get like 4 to 5 games in. And then when I teach, I'm basically playing, 4 people's hands at once. So I'd say that's playing a lot of games.
Wow. And what does your grandmother say about all of this?
Well, she's in the other room. I wish she could come give an ear, but she loves it. It's been really fun for her. She played before all of us, and so it's been great. Now all of our cousins play, we play, and it's such a good way for us to spend quality time when we're actually all together. It's an activity, but you can also converse and catch up on each other's lives while being over a game, and I think that's the best way to spend quality time with those around you.
Yeah, I've been seeing, more studies on intergenerational things that are bringing people together, and also things that people would say are of old that are coming back around in this younger generation now, that there is an appreciation for many of those things.
Definitely. We actually just did a partnership with this group called What's the Stitch, and she's a needlepoint. Her company's based on needlepointing. And it's just kind of a natural partnership that we found, because a lot of people we've seen in our events are also interested in needlepointing, among other, hands-on activities that have been around for years and years and years. But I think all in all of these analog hobbies are coming back because of the thing I said at the beginning, which is just kind of an anti-technology era of, you log off work and you want to do something with not only people, but also just to use your mind in a different way after staring at a computer screen. And I think mahjong, needlepoint, cooking are all such great ways just to, do some hands-on activities and get away from technology for a little bit.
Absolutely. Well, great talking with you, and congratulations on the success of So Bam Fun. And we hope that there will be many more people coming around tables and just enjoying some quality time with each other in this way.
Yes, I think you'll need to learn if you haven't already.
I'm going to have to learn, but I will tell you, my mom just picked up crocheting. And so that's, one of those things, again, that's kind of coming back around. Yeah. As people just need a little woosah. Okay. Thank you so much for your time. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Bye.
Everyone, it's about 3:56 right now, and it's good to have those moments, a little levity in our day. Whether you pick up, mahjong, stitching, cross stitch, all of those things, just something to kind of free your mind. There's a lot of heavy things out there that we do have to get into. One of those has been whatever this incident is that, we do know is deadly, that took place there on I-290 today. And you can see the scene looks a little bit different than the last time we looked in the 2 o'clock hour now. The tent that's set up out there, again, this investigation that's still in its early stages, even though we are hours into the day of the closure in both directions out there on what is a very important thoroughfare. For now, we're going into the evening commute, and it's been like this since the latter portion of the morning commute. Okay, we can see the tent is set up right next to the vehicle in question. There are a ton of evidence markers out there on both sides of the highway. Not exactly sure, what the authorities who are out there right now are doing at this point in time in their investigation. But let me just kind of catalog what we have seen so far as we get ready for the 4 o'clock news, where we should be able to get a little bit more information about things and how they've developed today. We have seen upwards of 30 evidence markers out there. We do know that there was a call out to I-290. This is right around the I-294 interchange about 10 o'clock this morning. By 11:30, we know that the bomb squad was out there. We saw that, the first responders were far back from this vehicle in question where all the doors are open right now. We saw them kind of gearing up, making a slow approach to the vehicle before they cleared it. And when I say clear it, I mean making it safe for the other first responders to then approach. Now, the other element of clear, we have seen a tarp over the driver's side window of that vehicle for several hours, and so we knew that it was very likely that there was a deceased person inside of that vehicle well before we finally got confirmation from the medical examiner's office that yes, indeed, someone had died in this incident. But we still don't know what the incident is, what the bomb squad did or did not discover. We do know that the ATF is there. Winchester police were called out. State police were called out. The FBI was called out. And again, that they have been out there for hours. And we don't know at this point in time just how much longer longer. They're going to be out there, but we have our chopper up over this investigation, which is now, again, several hours in, as you're seeing some of the vehicles start to move around, but this investigation continue on. We don't know how long they will be out there, but we'll be on it every step of the way. We're going to turn you over to the 4 o'clock news. Casey Cronus is on this story. You'll hear much more coming up.
What?
Was it one more time?
Just, I mean, the kid is okay, right, Tim?
Yeah.
I feel like this is...
Oh, God. That was enough. We'll see you tomorrow.
Live from Chicago, this is Fox 32 News at 4.
Chicago's bracing for a wave of teens at the beach as city leaders hope